Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest. I am Joe Truff, your GM this evening and most. And joining me are my friends Matt, Vincent, Hannah, and Alana. We are short a Kara and a Tina tonight. Kara is in Japan. Tina is at a wedding. But we will have everybody back, I believe, next week. Correct?
Yes. I
Yes.
think so.
Everybody back next week. In the meantime, what?
We back, baby.
We back, baby. But meantime,
Partying.
we're going to play some D&D. First, a couple quick announcements. We played Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign, last night. The party has resolved the most recent arc. They've leveled up to 12, and they have something new on the horizon. And so you can see that when it re-airs on YouTube at Alberon RPG on Sunday at noon, followed by this at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have an Instagram. You can see the different things on our table. Right now it is a plate and it is some miniatures, but sometimes there's encounter maps, there's all kinds of stuff. And you can see it in greater detail at Alberon RPG. In the upcoming months, we have many different events that you can check out. In the next couple weeks, Humblewood, Heart of Decau, run by Hannah, is going to be airing on the 24th and 25th.
Pronounced Daco. We've been talking about it for weeks. Like, should we tell him?
But it's all cute animals. It's Decau, right?
God.
Well, so yeah,
my next
full
character
disclosure,
be a
can I
cow?
tell you, I thought this whole thing was that there was like an ancient cow spirit and you were going to be like bringing the heart to reanimate it. And I was like, I was so excited for that.
I kind of thought that.
Yeah,
too.
I was like so excited. Anyway, spoiler alert, it's not.
Sorry, guys.
You'll have to
Cow?
find
No,
out
it's
what it
the
is.
cow.
You'll have to find out what it is when you watch on the 24th and the 25th. There are 2 sessions. I know that we're going to be watching on the 24th all together, and so at least I'll be in the chat. I'll say hello, but that is going to be on our YouTube. We have in November, we're just talking about Feast of the Noble Vale, the second session in what is a yearly tradition. This is a D&D cook-off. The characters are all quite interesting, and they come back to influence the main campaign in unexpected ways. You can see that when Kara runs it in November.
I love my character so much.
The characters are pretty good. I'm very happy with my character as well. I want to tell you my specialty dish, but I can't because it'll ruin the surprise.
You'll have to tune in.
So you'll have to tune in. Then in December, we are going to be playing Axe Wolf and Woe on December 14th. That is celebrating Hannah's birthday, and it is also revisiting Hannah's Campaign 1 character, Brenna, in a adventure that is going to see a little bit of gladiatorial combat.
I'm so excited.
January is going to see Fallout Blackheart of Texas, which is a 5-part original story in the Fallout universe that I wrote. We were okayed by Modifius and Bethesda to run this series, so very excited for that. And then there's even more stuff that is going to be released in 2025. We'll talk about it a little bit closer to the new year when we get to like a slate of things that are going to be happening that year. Likely, our Starfinder campaign will come to an end near the end of 2025, and so we have some cool things that are on the horizon for that as well. But that is all the announcements that I have for this evening, and so it's time for our session of Courts of Everest.
Everyone short rests.
Wandering Hearts. The last we played.
Other way around.
You found yourselves in the thawing room that had been occupied by the Frozen One, and collected a few treasures as they dropped from the ice as it shattered and melted away in the changing temperature. You confronted the caged, gaunt man who eventually identified themselves as Johann Setch, and by whose robes you inferred, and he confirmed, that he was a member of the Ausenlock, the same organization that Valis was once a part of. You also met a demon, a war wizard from the Ambersworn's Third Oath, played by Izzy, who is joining us from Dice Dragons Guild, a war wizard from the Ambersworn's Third Oath, who Ori briefly allowed to believe all of you had been sent to rescue, before that was a notion that was quickly dispelled. She told you that she had been separated from others while protecting one Elisare Isoleros, which drew a reaction from Ori, as that is the sister that he has been searching for. You left the throne room still in shock, trying to get more answers out of Johann, though they seemed hesitant to give you them, while Cheshire experienced among the psychic threads of the tapestry of dream silk messages from one individual who seemed to reach out across vast distances, and who spoke in rhymes and rhythm about events still to come for Billy, Valis, and Ori in particular. The rhymes concluded with the strings that only Cheshire could seem to visualize twisting around each other together and then pointing off and to the northwest. You all then made your way to the final room of the temple, the only place that you had not been before, the frozen place that seemed to be reflecting pools on the Feywild side. Within here, you found a portal to Stygia, yawning open under the baleful gaze of Levistus, Lord of the Fifth, sealed in a massive iceberg miles beyond within the hells. Faced with such profound evil, Valis, you charged into the room and took the dodge action heroically. A demon flew in behind and ignited a radiant wall of light that ruptured all 5 lemures, I learned they're pronounced, and
Lemurs.
how is it pronounced? It's
Ringtail.
No.
lemurs.
I just assumed
No,
lemurs.
lemurs are the
I learned a lot from this.
Primates?
I think it's lemures. Exploded all 5 of these lemures and damaged 2 of the devils beyond. The lead devil, who had been the one that captured Adimu, used an artifact to enhance one of the devil soldier's familiars, changing them from an imp form not dissimilar to Rez into a much larger war devil.
Yeah.
Ori and Cheshire jockeyed for position behind a pillar before Cheshire managed to muddle the thoughts of a pair of devils while Ori poured sneak attacks into the creatures on the periphery while he investigated another gate under construction. Minka, you flew in, lit by starlight, and using your radiant abilities found that these devils were no match for you, and all 5 of them that garrisoned this base fell quickly in succession. You were able to vanquish this lesser ice devil, and all together, by destroying these charms that hung behind the gate, managed to close the gate to Stygia. After this, you found yourselves still within the Temple of the Frozen Throated Dreadlord. The temperatures began to rise, and you recognize that there is still this tapestry room beyond. Cheshire told you that you had to see it. There was something to go, and she ran off. You've lost sight of Cheshire now. You can still hear her giggling in the room. But that is where we begin this evening.
So the last thing that happened was Johann turning into a bat and flying away.
Oh, I forgot about that part,
No.
too.
Oh, you want to...
I can't
As the
wait.
2 of you were, stayed behind in the room. Yeah, absolutely.
This fucking guy.
Ori, you had confronted Johann, and you had mentioned, and you had managed to get them to speak just a little bit more than Valis or any of the others, and they revealed to you that they were in fact a vampire, and they would gladly drink your blood, were it not for the fact that you were already marked by another. And that triggered some memories of a different creature of the night that you had encountered in the mansion of Diatrelin Sunder. And as you realize that you have not been alone for many nights on this campaign, that is where we begin this evening. Everybody else kind of moving off, the rest of you all conglomerating in this tapestry room.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ori, I'm beginning to think that maybe I'm not a good judge of character. Was that a vampire?
Yes, Valis.
And Valis, you can see in the distance, in the shadows of the ceiling, you still have that, what was it called, divine sense up, and so you can see that undead form off before they just disappear.
Yes.
You know, I don't think that's the first vampire I've run into. The first one was at Diatre's mansion.
That was the first for me as well.
Is that who he meant when he said you were marked?
That is the most likely assumption. But that is surprisingly not my biggest concern right now.
Understandably.
Johann Czech was the archivist of the Onyx Spire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what?
And for you, Valis,
So he
you
was
know specifically an archivist. That is somebody within the Austenloch who typically commands an entire branch. That is somebody who is very high up within the organization.
What do I know of the Austenloch branch within the Onyx Spire of the...
Make a history check. And given the condition of your mind,
Ooh.
make it a disadvantage. You find memories about specific things in the Austenloch kind of hard to recall.
Valis, snap out of it.
Zone.
Let's see. I rolled the same number twice. 14.
14.
Yeah.
You're still
My dice
delirious
don't...
from the blood loss.
So there are elements of the Austenloch that you're familiar with from Everest, like around your more immediate experience. You, of course, know the Austenloch Center for Geology in Darkbriar, not too far away. You know, I would say...
Makes sense.
Yeah. You would know also on this continent, there is a branch that is in the Emerald Spire. With a 14, you've heard that there is probably one within the Onyx Spire. You don't know anything about the name or anything really about that. I would say with the 14, maybe spending so much time around Minka, you would remember that there is the Starfall Observatory in Derby is technically run by the Austenloch as well. There are lost branches of the Austenloch. There was a continent to the northeast called the Ald. When that sank, the Aldwin Library was a place that was kind of run by the Austenloch proper, and that sank as well.
So essentially it sounds like the Austenloch is like, they're all related to each other, but it sounds like they like different places like specialize in different studies.
Yes, very much like that. There are roughly a dozen branches of them that are scattered across the world. They're technically based out of the Emerald Spire, but different areas have more pronounced like specialities. Yeah, Why can I not say that word? Speciality.
Yeah.
It's a speciology, like it's a study. The study of special
Study of
things.
special things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the Austenloch within the Onyx Spire specialized in, but the spire fell how many years ago?
You said it was like 400 years ago that he... When within the history of it was Johann?
I surely know that. Oh, wait.
I guess,
Damn
like,
it.
what does Ori actually
I
know
don't.
thinking about it now?
Make a history check. So you think about what you know about the Onyx Spire.
And, like...
I would know this from all those lessons from Javaris, but I've forgotten them all.
Because he's so boring.
I'm like,
Do I know the histories?
no, because those memories were
let's say
taken from me.
You only lost the memory of receiving it, right? Never mind. Not important.
Poor Phallus.
Ooh,
It's rough
I
life.
think it's a 14 or a 15. Let me double check. Pretty sure it's a 14, though. So Ori fell asleep a lot.
Doesn't have a lot of wrinkles left up
Yeah,
there.
14. There weren't many to begin with.
Thoughts
Exactly.
skip right across your smooth brain, and you.
I just know who's
So
the
are you
Onyx.
thinking about Johann Sech, or are you thinking about the Onyx Spire?
I'm thinking about, I guess, when he would have been the archivist of the Onyx Spire. Was that what epoch of its existence did he?
Well, it would have had to be before it was sealed within the Dome of Allen.
Right.
And so that tells you that
It's a very, very long time ago, before the Dark One was released. Correct.
correct. So
Okay.
give me one
So
second.
that's sort of what I'm trying to think. Like,
When was the doming?
what would his part? Would his part necessarily be? Because Ori's thinking like, okay, there's a lot of like weird Dark One stuff going on here. This guy's probably working. Like, did this archivist have some part to play in the?
With your check, probably it's a couple hundred years ago that all this went
Yeah.
down.
I didn't
And so it would
pay
need to be
attention
somewhere
for
there.
that
You've not thought about like
class.
So like, just for reference, do you know the head librarian of the Boston Public Library? Because that's what you're asking right now. There was no reason that you would have ever really known it. You would have really needed to. It would have been in the context of maybe something that they had
Ellery
done.
Quinsington Library.
And so sometime
Dr. Library.
John Library.
sometime in the early thousands of the Third Age, the spire fell and was sealed within the Dome of Alandar. You don't really know much before that.
I read like one chapter. I don't know.
Is that your most pressing concern right now, though?
No, that's still not my most pressing concern. My most pressing concern is the fact that my sister is somewhere out there, nearby, most likely.
I thought that might
Potentially
be.
in grave danger. That's pretty much my only concern right now.
All right,
So,
and we're here to help. Let's go join the others and make a plan to find her.
David Leonard is the current president of the Boston Public Library.
I was
in
close.
case anyone wants to know.
I was close. I wasn't close.
Oh, we got a real librarian over here.
I've been to at least one library conference.
But I can tell you
That's
right now, like
an infinity
I'm
amount.
very
Ori doesn't
involved.
know.
Times as many
I'm
as I've been
very
to.
involved with like DMH. Sometimes I can tell you who the commissioner is. Like right now I couldn't, but like I
Ori-
like memorize
Ori
policy
couldn't
and
tell
procedure from DMH. Like I really do know it, and
Department
it's
of
hard to.
medical stuff.
You got it. But like it's one of those things. Like no matter how involved you are, the specific people, like unless you know
Especially,
them.
yeah, I mean, Ori is.
And
not-
geographically, to get to the Onyx Spire, you need to travel through. It wasn't always called the
That
Valley
was
where
like,
Whispers Die, but it was not
I
always
mean-
easy to travel.
Clearly, that was like a cliff note in my basic magics books.
Well, and most history just teaches it is a place where bad things are. Don't go there, and that's really like the other things that you hear about it are bad kids go there. People who don't finish their vegetables
Probably
go
need
there.
some sort of secret books in the Austenlock to find out more information about that stuff.
Oh,
We're walking
walking into the
back.
tapestry room.
Yeah, going back, like, still very shell-shocked, I think.
here's some study to give that book back. Anyways,
When you walk through the doors, you left them open when you intruded into the kind of dream silk tapestry room. The silk strands that had been letting out that psychic chittering, those have all fallen inert around the ground. But when you walk through the doors to the ones that hung all these beautiful, glorious tapestries, the glass orbs in these delicate nets, they float a foot away from the wall, and they cast a glow across this room, this dark red glow. And even in this, you can see the tapestries have all changed. And there are no longer 10 of them. There are only 5.
Makes sense.
You see
That's very upsetting.
directly in front of all of you. And Alina, this catches your eye. This is a quilt, and it's not really a tapestry as the other ones were. You see this is a patchwork quilt. Along the ceiling, along these blackened kind of metal rings, each of these new things that are strung up there, they are velvet, they are suede, they are other fabrics. And so depending on how you look at them, the little bit of light that comes from these kind of orbs, it makes them look different depending on how you look. Yes.
when you said they are different, is it just because instead of 10 there are 5, or are the 5 different tapestries than what were there out of 10 before?
Are they no longer
Yes.
dream
Oh,
silk?
what?
You don't feel the psychic chittering. This seems, you can see the first one, it is a quilt of reds, golds, ochres, and vermilions. You can see in the center, Ori, the one that draws your attention in the most, yourself. Pale hair, red cowl. You can see a staff on your back. From the angle that you are looking at it right now, you can see behind yourself the tower shining crimson light in a beautiful satin cloth that forms a single square above the tower. But as you kind of tilt your head and look, the image changes, and you can see that beautiful satin shifts, and the tower appears to be cast in dark grays and silvers, and a field of gravestones is visible behind it. And when you move and shift, these two images, they flip back and forth, almost like the direction of the suedes and the satins changes how you perceive it in the light. But there are 2 sides to this picture. And Valis, when you look at it, you see this is a totally different fabric. It's a different kind of dimension, though similar in size. That is what you're seeing. You can see there's another one, in fact, Valis, that really draws your attention in. And this one shows golds and greens. There is emerald satin embroidered with beautiful yellow thread. You are in the center of it. You can see green hair above the Eladrin face. You can see your armor exactly as it is visible on you right now. You can even see the prayer beads resting gentle on the chest, a single button sewn into place for each one. From some angles, the light catches the green cloth behind, and you can see thousands of shapes. Bread loaves, grain, household items, and more than one shape and face that you might, when you kind of look at it, the details aren't close enough that you can make out any distinct shapes, but it feels like home. But from other angles, as you shift and turn, the green turns to purple, and you can see arcane glyphs and sigils, but the number of panels, it seemed to be like a dozen pieces of fabric, somehow seems to constrict and become just 4 or 5. It almost seems to fall by half, and it's like the entire quilt just becomes simpler. There is another banner.
Rude.
And taupes and browns. It is darker. There are swampier greens in this than the one that is within Valis. You can see that Billy is present in the middle of this. Their bruised hands hold a new sword outward. You can see the crystalline kind of shimmer is mirrored by what looks like almost like a sort of glitter across the top of it. There is a lopsided smirk that fills Billy's face. And from the angle that you enter at, you can see the smile actually becomes full. You can see they are standing there. There's nobody behind them, but there are indentations in the swatches of the green fabric that are shaped vaguely. You can see something that might be a satyr. You could see something that might be an Eladrin, something that might be a Genasi just cloaked in just billowy fabrics. You can see impressions of each of you. But when the angle shifts, the colors grow darker, and you can see there are only 3 distinct figures behind. One, rotund and fat, licking their lips, long tongue between pointed teeth. Another is tall and bent with their arms growing dark fur and their face bearing canine hallmarks. And the final is the same person that you saw turn to sand even as she was attacked by Billy. There is a banner that is more visually striking than the rest. This is the one that catches your eye, Alina. This is a tapestry of oak and maple leaves. Not fabric, actual leaves that have been woven together, a swirl of fiery reds and yellows and oranges that form a dramatic backdrop for the visual of yourself, Alina, clad in a waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider. And from one angle you can see through these small swatches of these leaves shift to form flowers and saplings and other fresh growth. From the other angle, it's like a burned forest, but neither changes the colors that are present. And then finally, there is a banner woven of different pieces of cotton that has been flecked with specks of gold paint to look like the night sky. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of constellations connected, fading, reconnecting behind Minka, the different angles changing the way that the constellations land in your eyes. And you can see that Minka seems less bubbly, a little bit more stern. From the angle that you approach at, the stars speckle across Minka's skin, connecting in from the fabric behind. You can see Minka's skin almost darkens to the hue of the sky when the sun is set. And when you shift the angle that you view this at, it's like that radiance behind dims and connects and is in and of Minka. And then you turn and it's just Minka as she is now, surrounded by members of not the Wandering Hearts, but the Enclave, beneath what looks like the ever-present gem landscape of the astral eclipse. And you don't see Cheshire. You can hear giggling from somewhere.
There's no Cheshire tapestry either. Like she
Zero.
doesn't get around.
Did
Okay,
you mention there was
Alina-
a patchwork quilt?
They're all patchwork. And so each one is made of many different pieces of fabric, and that is part of when you turn, the different kind of material catches the light in different ways. It seems to shift it. In some cases, like in Valis's, when those panels go from like a dozen to like 4 or 5, that feels almost like magic. It looks so strikingly visually that it feels like it couldn't possibly be just like an illusion. But as you move around, it really is just this fabric.
What the fuck is this?
I think that's
Some
us.
of these details are like brand new. Billy only just got that sword.
Cheshire make these?
You look up at these, and Cheshire literally walked in the room maybe 10 seconds ahead of you and has been jockeying with you for position, like elbowing you in the ribs. So has been out of your sight for no longer in the last 24 hours than maybe 60 seconds. So if Cheshire did this,
That's
at
why
some
I'm like-
point you have to kind of like just give in to
That's
the
why I'm
madness.
like, okay, like,
It would be
damn.
wild. It doesn't look
Okay.
like Cheshire did this. And the height at which it is not a place that would be readily accessible. You've seen Cheshire kind of float
were
around.
these potentially what were always there before they had been frozen?
No.
Okay.
The size is different. The shape is different. Everything about these, the number is different. There are bare hangers that are just up and
So these
loose
were
on
like
the-
recently placed while we were not in this room.
feels like it.
Alina is going to fly up and inspect, without touching, just looking, but just get closer to the fabric
Okay.
to investigate.
You fly up, and what are you trying to investigate about the fabric?
I would like to know whether these were like created magically.
Make an
and-
Arcana check.
Yep.
I'm gonna say out loud, wonder out loud. This is definitely magical, and the only thing that's changed is that we've defeated who was in charge of this castle, and
We
Maybe
killed
this-
a bunch of dream silk tenders, says Alina.
the ice demon that was watching this place. But
Well, the first
well,
person we saw was a seamstress.
You have all the information that you have.
well, I was gonna.
I
was
got a
gonna
15 on my Arcana check.
As you go up, you get the sense that this is certainly magically made because when you go and you look for the seams and you look to find the thread, there is none. This fabric seems to just become something different when it joins.
So I was gonna say. So the
This
only
is
thing we
magically
had was
produced.
that
This
we
is not mundane fabric.
Do I
killed the
I'm
leader
sorry,
of this
a
place,
follow-up question.
and perhaps maybe like this room magically tells the story of whoever rules the castle.
That's not it.
That's
It's something from Cheshire.
not a bad idea, actually.
It told the story of the drought earlier, and we've learned that
Or it has things to ask Cheshire later.
Josh is here.
Why do you think she's like swooped back down? What did you say? Why do you think it's from Cheshire?
Cheshire told us that we needed to see them. That's... For whatever reason, she knew that they were here.
She's acting weird and different, but that doesn't mean that she actually did this. I mean, she got here.
I'm not saying that she did this, but I'm saying that she has some knowledge or connection to whatever may have put this here.
Cheshire, did you make these?
I just said.
I think she might have gone on ahead.
And
Well,
she's
this
not the one who made them.
I have a follow-up question about the Arcana check. Does it seem like, I mean, so it could have been magically made, but from like tangible materials, but there are also spells where you can just wink something into existence. Can I tell which?
When you make something with tangible materials, there's usually like leftover. There is things that you would need to. This is a lot of cloth, and so you would need to carry it with something. None of that is around. You don't see little like loose bits of fabric that have fallen off as this was hung. The other pieces of cloth are nowhere to be seen, and those were quite large, and they were made out of dream silk. To manipulate those would likely cause somebody to fall unconscious. So it would suggest not only was this created wholesale with magic. Whatever effect did that also replaced all the old ones as well. It isn't just something like fabricate, it is something substantially more powerful.
I think Valis might be onto something with it might be part of the castle's enchantment.
Make an insight check. Alina.
19.
But more than any of the things that you know about this, what's almost upsetting about it is there when you look at this, there's an element of chaos to it. It's patchwork. It doesn't all quite fit. They're not exact rectangles. They're a little jagged in the way that they're put together. This is incredibly powerful magic. It took something that was powerful and just made it disappear and put something else in its place. It did it out of like this kaleidoscope of different materials. And there is an element of whimsy to this that makes it feel effortless.
Okay, this does feel whimsical. I'll give you that. This creeps me out.
You could see Adimu at this point is like kind of standing and shifts all their weight to one foot and then like looks at these different tapestries and then shifts them all back to the other side and just says, "There's 2 of each of you."
I will have a talk with Cheshire later on. She has sent us the message, or made sure that it was delivered in some way. I don't like mine very much at all, to be perfectly honest. I don't know how.
Either side?
No, I don't like any of this. Do you like any of this, Valis?
From what I could see, the tapestry seems to tell us our 2 possible futures for each of us. And it seems like one is good and one is bad, but I don't know. Those terms are relative.
Do we need to stay here any longer? This room is absolutely awful.
I've seen everything I need to see.
Adimu would say, "I do have a charge that I need to find."
Are there any signs in the castle of my sister?
You haven't seen any yet. And You've
Okay.
always kind of been keeping an eye out.
Leaving the castle, looking for signs as we're exiting.
I haven't
How do
exited
we
yet.
exit?
Or I guess, yeah. we have to
There's
figure
an
out
army
how
outside,
to
please.
exit.
Does it look... Okay, you said that the tapestries were jagged. Do they look like they can be moved? And does it look like there's a way that they would fit together from the jagged edges?
That's a great sense of thinking about things. Make a,
Need to tell Cheshire about things.
I would say, make an investigation check.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that...
Or he's just feeling feelings over there.
Okay. Investigation?
Yeah, nice roll.
So cocked. So bad.
Oh, buddy.
6.
You look at these edges of fabric that was just kind of effortlessly put together, and almost surely amongst this chaos, there must be order, right? Maybe they fit together, but you couldn't see how. That doesn't mean anything. I would say it's hard to really tell. It could be just, random pieces. It could just be a little bit uneven, or it could be small pieces to a much larger piece. Maybe it's not even everything. Maybe there's more in other places.
Does it seem like we could take them? Like, do they have that same property where if you take them...
You haven't noticed the same kind of chittering, and so you feel like you could probably go up and just grab them.
I kind of want to
You were
take...
right next to them and you didn't
They're
feel
pretty
any
tall.
adverse
Yeah, they're pretty
reactions.
high up, right?
How big is a quilt?
So when you look at them, you're seeing it's probably about 3 feet down and then maybe 5 across, so pretty large.
I'm gonna go over to Adimu.
Okay.
We need to get out of here, but I'm not going to leave until we find some sign of my sister.
If the date is what you said it was,
She's not going to be here.
days have passed. I don't want to return to the Amber Sworn without her.
Where do you... Let's get out of here first, and then we can talk.
Agreed.
Okay, so how do we leave? I mean, we
Before
came
we
in
go-
through the Fade Arc, so yes.
Could you grab me my tapestry if it seems safe to take? I kind of want to take mine with me.
Mage hand?
You throw a mage hand up there and you pluck it
I'll
off.
fly back up again to make it easier.
You fly back up, you grab onto it, and it falls apart. Right in your hand, it falls apart into 100 squares of fabric, and they down to the ground, and they form a straight line. And this straight line, or with your skills that this is off into the northwest.
It's pointing to the northwest.
Alina's gonna be
didn't-
like, touch. all the
Didn't
rest of
Cheshire
it.
say that she needed us to go that direction?
Alina, as you go up and you touch each one, they fall down, and across this main central line that points to the northwest, it becomes just a scattering of squares, and then it fills in just a little bit more, and then just a little bit more. And Minka, you could recognize a map of Darkbriar from anywhere, and you are looking at a map of Darkbriar. It is just, you can see like a little piece of Valis's face. You can see like a little corner that is like the kind of like tussle of Billy's hair, but that is making like a house that is up on like the north side. This is like where the Amber Swarm would congregate. You can see different like elements of this town that was built on the back of miners, and it is just fabric. And every time that Alina touches it, it becomes sharper because little pieces fall, and they just fall like pieces of fabric falling, and they land at just the perfect place where they can form these almost clean streets, and you can really see a map in front of you.
From above, does it appear that any place on the mark is map is marked?
When you look at it from here, no, this is just formed kind of a pretty clear map. You can see the individual neighborhoods. You can kind of see the central area. You can see the curve on the left-hand side that would indicate where the water meets the town, but there is no emphasis that you could see.
I guess we're going to Darkbriar.
I don't know if Darkbriar is that detailed.
No, I know,
there.
but I'm looking for relative spaces.
Is
We don't really
Darkbriar
know
is
where
not
we
to the
are
northwest of here, is it?
We don't really know.
It's west-northwest, yeah.
Ish, yeah.
Oh, wait. So the direction that Cheshire was telling us we should go is the direction of Darkbriar?
Is the direction of the line that was made when you first pulled down the tapestry. It's all seeming to line up.
Yeah, everything is pointing to dark.
I guess we are going to Darkbriar. I mean, I can get us there really easily. We do have to sneak through, back through the. What was the building that I forced
an
my way
ice.
in to get access to the
It's like the ice blocks.
teleportation circle
Oh yeah,
Which one?
in Darkbriar?
it's like the ice making
The
guild.
Ice Makers Guild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Ice Makers Guild is in Still Harbor, which is the neighborhood that's actually on that curve. And you can see Adibo, as they look down, they recognize that this is Darkbriar as well. And they point and they say, look, this is Under Amber. This is the Darkbriar Market. This is not here. I mean, I've been there almost every Thursday. This is a map.
Yeah.
Does this,
Well, I think that answers who made this.
I don't see
Does it?
how.
I think it does. I mean, you weren't wrong.
Explain yourself.
I don't think you're wrong when you said it was Cheshire, but I don't think you're right when you said it was Cheshire.
I didn't say it was Cheshire. I said that it was something related to Cheshire. Cheshire brought us
Right.
here for a reason. She did not
I think-
make these.
I do agree
Something
with Ori
else
here.
made
She
these.
she knows something about.
I heard something.
I believe that. What I mean is that Cheshire's always going on about great stories. She sees threads.
What did you hear?
I heard something. Someone. I don't know. It was very. There's a lot going on right now. Can we please get out of here? And
Yes, yes.
I'll explain.
Are we going to Darkbriar? Because we can go right now. It's up to you, Ori. I know you need to find your sister.
Where would my sister have gone if you did complete your objective?
Back to the Tower of Amber Wings.
The Tower
Would
of
she
Amber
have-
Wings is northwest still, too.
Even further, yeah.
Would she have any reason to stop at or stay in Darkbriar if she were separated?
Well, that's where I last heard it.
Perhaps to marshal more forces. It depends on how successful they were in getting back.
Can we please discuss this outside of the castle?
Agreed.
Well, it sounds like
Can we please discuss
this
Let's go,
relates
let's
to
go.
getting out of the castle. It sounds like if she was freed, she'd go to Darkbriar. So if we want to find out if she made it out, we should just go to Darkbriar right now and just.
Hold on. We can leave the castle and search the surroundings. Absolutely. Is that what you want to do?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I want to
Ah,
do.
I
So
misunderstood.
we just have to figure out what the best way to leave the castle is.
We were captured coming in here. There are roving bands of devils all around.
If we
Did you say devils?
Yes.
Rez, ideas?
You could see Rez goes, I mean, I wouldn't tangle with the devils.
let's just get out.
There's only one way out, right? The front. I don't remember seeing any other ways out.
We were gonna look to get in through the the back, but then we turned around.
Alina, can we magically leave? We magically came in. Is that something you could do?
I don't know. I think that was kind of a one-way thing, but I mean, damn, if only Cheshire were here. She has a great spell that could get us pretty far out, but I mean, no, because I need a teleportation circle to go to, and we haven't seen any down here in the caves.
We've seen one by the Enclave.
Where exactly do you want to investigate? Is it right outside the castle?
Since I don't think we're going to be able to leave this castle until I address the situation, Valis, I do not want to go with the Embersworn. Sorry, Edimu. You are the first person to actually know any of this, or of my existence, for the majority of the past few decades.
I'll be totally honest. I just learned about you from
Yes, exactly. And it was a grave mistake that I regret terribly right now because of this situation. But I want to see my sister safe.
Why don't they talk about you?
There are things that I would rather not discuss that are a bit more personal.
They continue to look at you, but they don't address it any further.
I need to make sure that my sister is safe. But I cannot have anyone know that I've associated in any way.
I'm not eager to go back without your sister, without confirmation that she's still okay.
Which is why I am trusting you right now to keep this secret.
May I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Do not go back to Darkbriar unless you're ready to be discovered.
Which is why I did not want to go immediately to Darkbriar and was trying to keep that a secret from Edimu. I am sorry.
Whatever you've heard about the Ambersworn, we're not all the same.
You've shown me that.
She turns and she says, is there a different place that you could go?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I can get us to the Enclave or back to my hometown or even all the way to the Emerald Spire, but that's not where we want to go.
Which is closest to Darkbriar?
The Enclave, certainly, but...
Yeah, and we could theoretically take a different path back.
We should go back to the Enclave and make sure your people are safe.
Yeah.
And we can rest in safety.
And we can rest.
I have to deliver the news anyway.
Alina starts drawing out the teleportation circle.
You sit down, you start drawing out the teleportation circle.
I think he's gonna go try to close the doors.
Okay, you go. You start closing the doors one by one, leaving the place nicer than you found it.
I'm gonna go with Minka because I want to pull her aside and just say in secret rest from the group. Is it, since we're now talking about secrets and stuff, is it a bad idea for the Ambersworn to know where the Enclave is?
I think he's gonna think about that. And we've never had a good relationship with the Ambersworn, but I don't think we're wanted.
No, you've been, and you especially,
Yeah.
you've probably been shooed out of tunnels and things, but it's not like you guys are actively going into their territory.
Yeah.
They are kind of getting closer to the region in which you guys are all in, but it's never caused problems.
Yeah.
From your experience with people in Darkbriar recently, most people just think of you as the hill people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
it's not positive, but nobody's looking to go out with pitchforks, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I would prefer if she didn't see how we opened the door and keep that unwitnessed. But I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with her going. It's not like we're doing anything strictly illegal by living underground.
Very good.
Oh, maybe she can know what to do with all those refugees that are just hanging out. Unless they want to join. They are pretty lost themselves.
Draw.
Draw
Get to
up the
almost
circle.
the last part, but not all the way.
No problem. Easy to do.
Yeah.
Is anybody doing anything before you teleport out of this place?
Still so many questions for Demu, but
Adimu seems to be going with you, so
yeah,
you,
so don't need to have them right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Ori and apologize for not being smart enough to notice or catch the hint, if there were any.
it's like a flashback to everything. Like, now Valis, look, don't say anything about where I'm from. And then Valis turns around. You mean about being gone?
Don't mention anything about any of the things that you've seen.
High as the pact of silence we all agreed to do.
So, anything else you all want to do before you take this teleportation circle?
I think that's it for old Ori.
Okay.
Ori would like to be out of here.
Okay, we have 6 seconds. So everybody ready to go? And then
Ori's...
Did you get an answer to your question? Someone asked if it was the marker on Darkbriar map. Did you answer that? I
Yeah, there
forget.
was no marker. That was clear. It was just a very detailed map.
Okay.
okay. So and then before she connects it, she's gonna look at Ori and be like, "Yeah, okay, connect."
Okay. And so there is this teleportation. You all run into it, and as you do, there is a stomach-turning whirl of movement.
Is this something we go through, or is this something we just stand
So
in
this
place
is something that when it activates, it becomes like this
We become a
swirling,
singularity.
glowing portal, and you can step into it, and you don't fall through. It is like you just kind of, you feel the sensation of movement as you are all running into it. It's like you're watching people run into this thick wave of vapor, but it is like the same sensation that you get when a roller coaster drops. You feel your stomach rise up into your mouth, and suddenly you're aware of your weight being pitched forward slightly as you stand a little bit flatter than you did on the circle that Alina drew. And you all recognize the rocky walls of the interior chamber of the teleportation circle across the crawling road and separated by a illusionary cavern wall from the entry to the enclave. There is no sign of the refugees. You do see that there is like marks of people having passed through here recently, but they haven't left anything behind. You were just within the space.
Can we please go find a place to rest? Please.
We also have a murder to solve.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We could rest here in this room, right? Unless we'd rather... I forget how far is the enclave from this spot?
It's like across the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Or would you prefer... I mean, you probably would prefer to...
I would prefer to cross the street.
Would you like to sleep feet away from your bed?
Would you like to sleep in your bed or in the front yard?
Not in your neighbor's yard.
Yeah. So you make your way out from the teleportation
So-
circle.
Before we get, Minka's gonna go over to Demo and be like, okay, we're gonna go to my home. I just ask that you just close your eyes and plug your ears while we walk through this.
Make your persuasion.
This is my best stat, and I definitely always roll
You
really
have
high
not
for these.
spoken to her really yet. And so your first request is, hi, I'm not going to introduce myself, but I would like for you to plug your ears and close your eyes.
Persuasion?
Yeah.
6.
I promise it's okay.
Can I help?
How are you helping? I will see this going back.
I will say...
not good at this
I will give
face.
context to it.
She,
The Enclave has survived through obscurity, and we
Tenuous
really like...
relations with most Ambersworn because of activity around here, locals.
make it an advantage. So make it
Hey.
again. Flat. Make it again flat.
Lower.
She looks at you and she says, if you are doing nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear from me.
No, it is the door. It's just it's
Minka,
locked.
do you want to just go ahead and open the door and then we'll follow you?
That makes way more sense, actually. Yeah.
And then Minka's gonna walk ahead.
So, like, Mika walks ahead, Adimu hangs back, and she'll say, many of the laws of the Magiocracy are very liberal, so if there is some thing that you enjoy, I myself enjoy red wine quite a bit.
It's not like
Yes.
a pot farm or whatever the fantasy equivalent is.
You get the sense that she's definitely leading in that direction, but
Yeah.
no problem. You go ahead. Minka, you can see the platform You can see there is, just put up against the cave wall after you pass through the illusionary one, a 10-foot wide door of carved onyx. You can see this is masterwork that will probably not be replicated anytime in the near future.
Oh no.
You can see a border of swords and spears and scythes and crossbows and the 3 dragons in intricate detail depicted.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Usathos was the dragon.
So are you saying that out loud?
I think it's
While Minka's ahead, Alina is going to start very loudly talking to Adimu about Cernunos, so that just to give a little blanket of sound so that she can't like listen over.
So
Okay.
Minka's gonna
She
think.
politely listens.
Yeah.
Like you get the sense that she kind of knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
But also like doesn't seem to care.
I don't actually care. Even if she knows what I'm doing, I'm like, as long as you don't hear the word.
Yeah. This is show
You know
business,
that I know
not
that I know
yeah.
that you know.
So the only notes I have in here are the black dragon notes. So that's Usathos, and so Minka's gonna think about it and just be like, "It was the black dragon, right?"
So the black dragon, the blue dragon.
So you remember to enter, you had said Usathos.
Yeah.
Who is the obsidian moon, the black dragon.
Yeah, yeah. So she's gonna be like, "That must be the one, Usathos."
You speak this word and the door open yet again, and you can see the stone steps that rise up, but they are obfuscated somewhat because kind of waking up, leaning up against the wall on the other side is your mom. You can see in front of them, kind of clutched in both arms, almost shielding them, there is a intricate shield. And you can see this, it is almost certainly magical. You can see that there are glowing runes across it that speak of these incredible deeds. At a glance, as you look at it, you can see there is mention of slaying demons, of crossing an ocean, of walking across a peninsula of fire glass. There's all kinds of stuff kind of etched into here. And I would say you probably, Minka, have heard in the stories that have been told about the shields of Sarentil, this is almost certainly one of those. But you are kind of lost in that moment as your mom like wakes up, and you can see she has almost certainly been camped out here, likely since you left. And immediately says, Minka, and dives over and just sweeps you up in a hop, almost knocking you off like the cliff, like 80 feet down into the water, but no problem. She just sweeps you up, even as an adult. She just lifts you off the ground and then like gently sets you back down. Minka, you're okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I have really bad news, but everyone that I left with survived.
Lormar.
I did not bring anyone back.
I heard. The people that you sent back.
Okay.
I was waiting for you by the teleportation circle, and we brought them back.
So we had to stay a little bit longer
We had a
because
murderer. It was the Glover.
it was.
No way.
I knew
You figured it out.
strange.
He escaped.
I knew he was a weirdo.
5 months ago.
We bought one of his gloves. Were we accomplices?
You can see she shakes her head and she says, "Oh no, Minka, dear, there's no way you could have known." I had us all fooled.
Bought a pair of gloves from that guy.
I knew something was weird about it.
You did. You tracked it almost right away.
Ah!
Also,
You are a bad judge of
the bad news is that we do have a member of the Amber Sworn following us. She's standing on the other side, and she will not stop following us. So just heads up.
Very well. We should limit the amount of the Enclave that we show them.
Yeah, ideally.
Why are you bringing the Ember Swarm?
Because, okay, where do I even start?
Lot,
We're not there.
can we find a place to
boy.
rest, please, and then we can talk.
Are we
Run
there?
up ahead and
Yeah, we're
join
not
them,
there.
Alina.
Not there.
There's
No.
no.
Oh, I run up and I'm like,
Only
Lot,
Minka
thank
went.
God.
Only Minka went.
Do you have any beds?
Lot turns.
I'll follow at a respectful distance.
So everybody
behind
kind of
until-
catches
yeah.
up now.
Okay. Okay. Well, we failed Lorimar. I have his hammer. And then we found the big scary castle where everything is frozen, why everything was cold, and we dealt with that. But in the process, we found an Amber Sword.
That doesn't really answer my question.
If I may, she.
Please, all of you come in.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
she kind of like walks up, and you can see those like stairs of stone have like slid out, and you can walk back up to the enclave proper. Give me 1 second. She'll let all of you pass in, including Adira, kind of looking her up and down as she does, but closes the door behind so that the dragons are now connected, and you can all make your way back up to the top.
Okay. So, and then as we're going up the stairs, Nick is gonna start like rattling off, just like, okay, like there was like the ooze and the bad neighbor. You probably heard this part, but oh my God, Lormar, I'm so sorry. And then kind of go around about like Grungabunga and how we almost went to Grungabunga and then didn't go to Grungabunga. And then the wild hunt happened, and it's just very like,
Wild hunt?
oh yes, we saw the wild hunt.
What do you mean you saw the wild hunt?
More accurately, we saw Hearn of the wild hunt.
Alina's gonna trot back and be like, yes, I joined the wild hunt.
But you're still alive.
I was given a hunt and we completed it together, and
Does that mean you joined?
I've earned a seat.
You can see that seems to mean something to Lot. But she nods and she says, you have all been through a lot. You, of course, can rest as long as you need to.
Awesome. Okay, so out of the refugees, how many are still here?
Give me 1 second, pull up my list.
Did we lose that? We lost one for sure. The damn Glover.
So,
Okay.
Good.
many of the refugees who are here from the surrounding area
Bad,
are
'cause
still-
he's gonna
Okay.
kill more people.
now that you vanquished this evil, maybe they can return. But of the people that you sent back from some prison, there's a few that have stayed. There was an ogre who is actually very sweet, if very single-minded. They're quite hungry. There is Duragar, who is here as well. They have mostly been just talking about how the Grey Lady is behind everything. And then there is an individual who was the one that unearthed that Eric the Glover was the murderer.
Oh,
They were I think a sorcerer of some kind, although they haven't used any magic explicitly. And they keep talking about how they're having a waking nightmare. So, very happy that you're all back. The newest batch of refugees that you sent seem to have gone through quite a bit of trauma.
yes. Yeah. Okay, I don't even know how to begin to explain it.
What is a bad neighbor?
We didn't get to see directly the bad neighbor, but we were told the bad neighbor was an ooze with 5 horse heads
I
inside.
wonder if it was related to the greed.
The what?
The greed. Oh, we also found out what happened to Maserat's mine.
Oh,
Midas and Maserat must have sealed themselves in because there is an ooze that was beginning to emerge out of it. It looked almost like gold at first, but it was not.
so much ooze.
Yes. We've sealed that temple off, or that mine off.
Good.
Did Midas make it back with?
We're holding out hope.
Is that where we went before, but there was poisonous gas that we couldn't?
Correct.
Okay.
That we
And
probably
some lantern.
100% could have,
Yeah.
and then just
Right,
did.
the lantern that connected.
Yeah.
So telepathically to Rez, Alina's gonna be like, didn't you smell a help down there? Maybe if we go help them, we'll find another portal.
I don't want you to ever say anything about this, okay? Devils and demons kind of smell a little bit alike. We're different, but it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable, okay? It's possible. It might have been a demon.
Okay, so, okay, thanks, buddy. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, let's just leave that where it is.
Okay, yes.
So much. Why there's so much? Wait, we have encountered so much ooze. Specifically, I have encountered by accident so much ooze.
You really do seem to attract it.
Lot says, well, there's a lot of ooze in the Underdark. Much of it is sensitive to the sunlight, and so it stays where there is none.
We're in the Underdark.
Yes.
Well, almost. Well, kind of. You see Megan thinking really hard about like the layers and trying to estimate how deep we currently are. To say, I don't think we technically are in the Underdark yet.
It depends on what part of the Enclave, actually.
Yeah.
You're right on the cusp of the Upper Dark.
Yeah. This is like, we're mostly not. We're gonna go rest.
You start trotting over to the house.
I'm like, I can't. I just need to go to bed now.
We're gonna go rest. I will try to explain what happened. I need the hammer. And then I don't know if anyone can use it.
She holds her hand out. She takes the hammer, and you can see she weighs it in her hand. And this is not a motion that is not practiced. Lot said goodbye to a lot of people. But she looks at it, and there's more fondness than sadness there. And she says, maybe not anybody yet. But new people are always coming. And she looks over at Adimu. As the people walk off, you can see it is a lot more full here than it was when you last left it. You do see there is a huge ogre who is holding like an entire like leg of some kind of an animal, just ripping into it. They're just sitting like on the ground outside in the middle of the entire enclave. So like in the kind of making it hard to walk through the narrow paths, people will have to like kind of swing out amongst the more broken bits of rock to get out. But they're just happily munching away.
Should we open up another feast like we did last time?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. What do you want? Here, Phallus, it's your turn.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot of bread. Maybe someone else.
You can't do worse. No. Last time I did it, I was real bad.
Okay, Alina's like, oh yeah,
I gave
that
it
makes
to
more sense.
Adema. Oh, I was offering it to Ademu. But
We're all like,
Everyone's fighting over it.
Do you all just share one plate?
it's magical.
So
Are you?
You can create whatever you desire. Just think about it, and it will appear.
Holds out a hand.
And who is this?
Ademu.
Adimu.
Adimu?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll hand it over.
They take it. You can see they look at it. And they kind of turn it over. This is interesting. Where did you get this?
Curio shop.
I don't remember where we got it.
I do, but
You
I'm
can
not
see
going to
they
say
like hold
because
it
I'll follow along with the secrets
move
this
their head
time.
around, and they say,
know.
I'm
Getting it.
probably do something with this, but you're saying it's to create food.
Yes, it's usually how we survive. So please don't.
Make a feast for us and the people here.
Yep, that's why we handed it to you, to use it for its intended
You
purpose.
can choose the deal.
You can all calm down. I'm not going to take it. I just imagine what I want.
Yes.
You can see they hold it out, and it begins to extend. They kind of are surprised by that, but quickly kind of hold on, and you can see unfolding first, there are just like a variety of dinner rolls, some that are dark and crusty, some that are a little bit more... It's the bread that Valis promised. It's the bread that was foretold.
Why'd I say bread
But in addition to the bread, you can see an entire roast pork, like an entire pig that is just out on this huge platter. You can smell the kind of like crackling skin. There's honey. There is salt that is included. It is like a entire roast pig preparation. And on the other side, you see first one tier, and then a second, and then a third. There are 9 massive jugs of red wine that are just like they have these little. They're made out of clay. They have these almost silver spouts. Each one has like a slightly different look to it. And then behind that, there is cheeses and grapes. And this is like a massive charcuterie board with a huge entire pig as the centerpiece of it. And it just kind of pops out right at the end, a couple toothpicks. And she'll set it down
Wow.
and say, that's
Pretty
not
cool, right?
what I would have used that for, but I appreciate the idea.
What else could it be used for?
Maybe we can just imagine Ori's sister.
I don't know if I would want to eat oysters.
No, not to eat.
Money! I eat money!
It's actually a tray of simulacrum, and you're just making sentient food the whole time. Oh, I love that.
Where is the one who oppresses? Kill him before he eats us! As foretold in the scriptures!
Oh, boy.
Oh my god!
What would you have used it for?
Well, this is conjuration magic. Conjuration is how you teleport. There's all sorts of things that this might. This is. She hands the plate back and she says, "This is something that the Amberstone would be very interested in studying. Our artificers would love to look at that."
Can I see that? Can I, on the next rest, can I try cuddling it and see if I can learn anything more about it?
Sure.
Nobody ever cuddled it. We were just
That's
told
true.
what it does. Okay.
Don't.
You do it, it becomes legendary.
You want to attack me? Here's a bunch of.
This plate's an entire mix.
You've been using like the flavor ability so far. That's
Like
it.
the Iron Man suitcase.
No, but instead of like anything functional, it'll just be an entire kitchen. It's really for the Feast of the Noble Vale. But somehow we
Yes.
end up with it.
I put it back away for now, and I'm like, I'm gonna
Iron
find out
Man,
soon.
but it's like just
Iron
Iron
Chef,
Chef.
man.
I gotta rewrite my character again, third time.
Oh man, we're giving Kara some man.
Damn it.
Anyway,
Have we begun to long rest at this point?
you have your feast. Other people who are here, you can see. You had met a gnome from Darkbriar. They show up. You had met, I believe, the family.
Oh, the
Verhu.
fucking. Wait, is it the. Not the guy. He got off the train. No, never mind.
He got off
No,
the
so
train,
there's
yeah,
a family of
he's not
gnomes.
here,
There's
don't worry.
Ben
He can't hear
Lipsky,
you.
Winslet, and Parla, Darla, and Skintron, the gnomish family. You are joined by the Water Genasi cleric Cascade. Eric the Glover has left, and so they are no longer present.
Who's the one who figured out Eric the Glover?
It's one of the
So that is
refugees.
right when you guys show up. Just so that we're all on the same page. When you guys start getting ready for your long rest, it's 3 p.m. So everybody else is like, in
Yeah.
the swing of things. There is one other person in the House of Rest who is actively resting when you get there, and it is one of the refugees that you had all freed from the stocks.
Is this the one who said to Billy, like, I thought I saw you in a dream or something?
Sure as heck is.
All right.
Cool.
This individual.
That can't be good.
when you're sleeping. This is the individual that they said had kind of pointed out Eric the Glover. This is somebody who, you can see they're the only person actively sleeping right now. And I would say they don't look a lot different. You can still see they look dehydrated, kind of sallow in skin.
How long has it been since we sent the refugees back here? It's been more than a day, right? Because we rested.
I believe it has been just shy of a day, so I think it's been about 20 hours.
Okay. So it makes sense that he's like resting still.
Yes, absolutely, especially after the kind of situation you found them all in. But you have your feast. Is
So
there
as we go to rest, is this dream guy, is he, you said he's resting or he's like sleeping?
He's sleeping.
Okay, alright, never mind.
I want to have a conversation with the demo now that we're safe.
Okay. So you all kind of like have your dinner, you go off to your various rooms, or really your various beds. It's all one big room on each floor. But if you can find a time to be alone with the demo. They are very, very pleased with the wine. It is exactly as they imagined it to be, and there's 9 different types of it, and they're committed to trying each one.
Kind of love the demon. She's got priorities. I respect that.
I can wait for other people to like do stuff. Before,
I'm probably
'cause
just
I
gonna
know
go off with Lot.
Yeah.
And essentially try to stay focused on like
Let her get drunk.
what we can do, figure out what to do next for the enclave for the water thing, and then end up just trauma dumping about the past day or so. Yeah, we don't have to roleplay that, but that's just what's happening in the corner. Is Nick is having a minor breakdown with her mom.
Well, no, so you go off with Lot, and
So mom's
I
a
think
4.
Alina and Billy are in quiet conversation about things that nobody else needs to know about.
okay, fair enough. So we'll start with you and Lot. You go off and you begin by thinking about, what are we going to do? You mentioned the well.
Yeah.
And Lot says, it seemed, and without getting hopes up, it seemed like it was maybe slowing, but we could go check.
Okay.
Come. And she begins to go and makes her way off towards the well. And what are you telling her as you make your way there?
Yeah. So, yeah, I was really worried because, when Lormar exploded, it was I
didn't know what we would do about everything that's going wrong here. They had like a soul machine that shot souls. That was the thing? Yeah, he exploded.
Lormar. I'm very sorry, Minka.
Technically, I exploded him.
You could see she like hugs you. She stops like their forward progress and she says, Minka, it wasn't your fault. You have to let go of that.
It was like everywhere. I've seen so much death since I've left here.
She nods and she says, Minka, when you said that you wanted to leave, it broke my heart. Not because you wanted to go away. I always knew that would happen. You've always wandered, no matter how hard I've tried to stop you. But it broke my heart because I knew what you would see. When you become an adventurer, you lose people around you. And I never wanted that for you. Before you came into my life, I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but I was an adventurer too.
I had my suspicions.
She kind of gestures and the shield like radiates like off of it. She says, Minka, how old do you think I am?
Well, if you asked me that before I came back, I would have said, like, 150 at most. But, like, I'm getting the sense that I don't have a great sense of the scale of time.
That's not the case. Your sense of time is compatible with everything else. Your scope is just more limited than mine. This must be my 740th year?
That is more numbers than I was expecting. Really?
It feels like many lifetimes.
So much must have changed.
Yes, I didn't always live here. I was born in a place that no longer exists, a place called Jungle Root. But much has changed, and in the time that I was an adventurer, I lost a lot of friends. I didn't plan to stay with the Enclave. It was a place that I was going to perhaps find myself, but I had always planned to leave. But then you came. And for the first time, it didn't feel like I was looking for things anymore. But that was my story, and this is yours. And I know this was hard, Minka, and I'm so proud of you for how you've handled it. And she breaks the hug, and she like kind of ushers you forward a little bit, and you make your way. And as you get towards the well, you can hear water.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. They will not die of thirst this day.
Huh. We
Make your way down to the kind of smooth stone, and when you get there, you can see this mosaic of like blue pieces of stone that have been smooth, a few with these little tiny messages chiseled in by past residents. The water level is slowly rising,
Okay.
and the temperature seems to have risen here as well.
Okay. So I guess the extreme cold is probably causing an ice dam somewhere.
That would make sense.
Ah, such relief.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. Because it's not great. We figured out who Silasine was. They are the frozen-throated dreadlord. They never went away. Or if they did go away, they're back.
That's good to know.
So, and that was their castle that we okay, so let me give you the whole story, and then like she's gonna kind of like rewind and just and tell
So there's a place called Grungabunga.
in a more coherent manner. She
And a
probably
place
spends a
called
little bit too
Grungabunga.
long on Grungabunga just out of fascination and disappointment that we didn't end up going to Grungabunga.
Have to do a one shot there eventually
Yeah.
because I bet it's real good.
I've heard it's a very interesting place. She nods, she kind of listens along, and here in the well, now hearing the water come back, you are able to relay this stuff in a little bit more of a hopeful light. But flashing back over, Valis, what are you doing? Are you going to bed?
I've been playing drinks with the Demu probably this
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah. We'll get to that towards the
Yeah.
end.
I probably would check to see to ensure that the well was getting better, and then I probably head off to bed.
Okay.
Really.
So I would say there's no way for you to sneak up on Minka. And
Yeah, so-
like you hear
so
like when
I-
Valis comes down, you're like talking about Grungabunga, and so you like overhear that as it's coming. Nobody's sneaking up on anybody here.
Okay. So I probably just like confirm that the well is good. Oh, good, and I probably just head to bed early.
Okay, no problem. You drink with the Demu, and a Demu is content to really like embrace what it means to drink wine. Begins by like drinking and taking little bites, but slowly starts taking cups and like just ripping chunks off of this pig and like eating it like with her hands. But she has the cup of wine. She seems pretty content.
You must have been pretty hungry after being frozen for so long.
Yeah, it's very funny. I don't remember missing meals, but I can feel it now.
I will answer any questions that you have if you will do the same.
She narrows her eyes and she takes a sip of wine and she says, "Let's make it even more interesting. Let's make it into a drinking game as well."
Well then, it's a good thing I've been practicing with my good friend Crispy.
This is always, you're always doing that.
Oh, we've come full circle.
Oh, that's just been preparing me. This is the minor leagues. I've played with the best.
For every question that you hesitate to answer, you must take a drink.
Sounds fair. I assume the rules are the same for you?
Yes, of course.
Then, after you may have first questions, I suppose.
Well, when you refuse to answer a question, it becomes the most interesting one, of course. Why doesn't your family mention you?
Because I am a blight upon our name.
Well, I imagined as much. But why? What are the details?
I suppose it is because of my unusual existence.
Are you a ghost?
I am not a ghost. How much? I suppose. This is not.
Adi was asking
This
the
is
right
not
question.
a deflection of the question. Rather,
I
in
think
order
the
to
rules would say that you
properly-
need to take a drink.
in order to properly answer this question, I suppose I will need a drink, but I will also need to ask a question.
Well, that's how this game works.
How much do you know about my family?
She takes her glass and takes a drink.
We're gonna need more seltzer.
Are we being honest here?
I would like to think so.
From what I know, and
Here for the
again,
seat this whole time.
sure, make an insight check. From what I gather, your family, again, no disrespect. What was it?
24.
No disrespect. Sort of seem like coattail riders.
And, my sister.
I'm surprised as to her ability. But aside from that, what about her?
Which ability?
Her magic.
Just, yes, okay.
Her prodigious magic. It was never mentioned to any of us.
Who gave you the order
Which one?
to escort my sister.
It wasn't an order, it was an honor. For the same reasons that I got this. And she holds up this rod with her other hand. A little bit of the wine spills out. But she takes a sip and she says, I got this for saving my entire band, essentially. And because I did that, because they knew who I was, I had the opportunity to escort your sister.
We are being honest, yes.
I think so.
What do you think of my sister personally, from your experience?
She's cute. What do you mean?
How... You want to find her, yes.
Do you want an appraisal of her tactical abilities?
No. I am trying to understand. Your desire to find my sister is due to your obligation as an Amber Sworn, yes?
Perhaps my obligation is a strong word. It was hard for me to get to where I am now, and I have no desire to see my station lost. And if I return without my charge, that's exactly what will happen. Being an Amber Sworn right now, we're hiring, yes, but rising is difficult.
Right. So, my sister is nothing more than a token to your promotion.
I'm sure that she's a fine human being as well.
Right. We do need to find her for different reasons. You and I.
Agreed.
So, what do you know about the crushed amber that you were seeking?
Well, you have to take a drink because you never answered my question. What's so strange about you?
Oh, yes.
Why are you a blight on your family? You're not a ghost.
I'm going to need another drink for that one. One moment.
You look around.
I guess I'm just gonna keep drinking this wine.
It's good wine.
Well, you are obviously aware of situations within the Magiocracy. It is literally within the name, the Magiocracy. My family, like yourself, it seems, would like to rise up in the ranks.
Yes?
I am a hindrance to that. For you see, I am completely without magic.
You're serious?
Yes.
Like no magic? Not you, Mage Hand.
No.
Huh. It makes way more sense now. I'm so sorry. Did I hit you with the cheese?
Don't need your pity.
No.
Pity
I just, when you said no magic, your sister
Yes.
is perhaps one of the most powerful spellcasters that I've ever been in the presence of.
Yes.
And none.
Which is why it is best for my family that I did not exist.
I'm sorry.
I do not need your pity.
It isn't pity.
I need your help finding my sister.
Listen. Your life sucks.
Oh, fuck. This conversation Nori has had too many times in his life. We've had it with him, literally.
You don't need my pity, but you need something. That isn't the way to live.
It would be helpful if I could find my sister.
All right, let's
stop.
do that then.
Yes.
So, do you all know a seer or somebody who might be able to scry them out? Or, I could perhaps find one in Darkbriar, but we'll need to sneak in if we don't have your sister yet.
Did we hear about someone who could potentially do something like that?
Billy knows a couple people who can.
Well,
Hannah in the group chat was asking whether she should take scrying at level 6, but
I will have access to said spells if we could get the components.
I have an idea.
perhaps.
My ideas are always terrible.
It was the tone. It was like the meter that you said it at. The sample.
I think there are a lot of opportunities to obtain scrying. It's more about the components.
Yeah.
I'm not there, but think about this, Ori. We came here, and one of the refugees was able just to ID a murderer. There might be something there.
There might be
I had
something
thought
to
about
that.
that.
Yes.
Also, it turns out my mom knows shit. She
I
might know
was
something.
going to suggest perhaps we did just help to some degree the people here. Minka is the friend of mine who you just met because she wanted you to close your eyes and
You could have
your
said the
ears.
blue one.
That makes much more sense now that I've gotten to see this place and everything else that's happening here.
Which is
You
why
don't all really have your stuff together.
How dare you?
Understatement of the century.
But look, this is important too, of course, and we can get back to this, but really we should focus on you. Not looking at it won't make it go away.
No, it's not that I'm not looking at it. It's just that, when you look at something for literally your entire life, it's hard to keep it, as the main focus all the time, because it would probably get to you a bit after a while with, how present it is in every conversation and in every interaction that you inevitably have with the people around you.
She stands up, you can see she fills up her glass one more time, and she says, well, I'll tell you, when I'm faced with something that is being unpleasant, I typically choose to focus on something else. Have a good night, Ori. And she takes the wine and kind of stumbles for a second and then makes her way back upstairs to a bed.
He's a terrible therapist.
Ori is just gonna be like,
You down some drinks, no problem. But for all of you, is there anything else that you're doing before you long rest?
I will be sleeping at my house.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that I'm not sleeping in the house of rest. I am in fact going to my
No
childhood
problem.
room.
And is there
where
anything else that
my
you want
bed.
to talk to your mom about, over the course of this evening?
Yes. I think at this point, Minka would start asking more questions about how much Lot knows about what the Darkstone Lode is and what the Embersworn is doing in this area.
Oh, well, the Darkstone Lode, I know quite a bit about it.
Oh,
In terms of what, exactly?
well, we have now found a couple of hints that point back to the Embersworn doing something that might be related to the fracturing. So, have I brought up the fracturing? I can't remember if I actually, told you what's going on, because I, accidentally skipped over it and kind of went in a circle.
Like always, dear, it's best to assume that you...
Okay, so, the whole thing that we're doing in the first place, and the whole reason why we came this far out, was because there is a group that involves at least one vampire, that is meant to fracture the orb.
Vampire.
Yes,
Okay.
of Alendar.
Fracture the dome of Alendar.
Yes.
That can't happen.
That is why we are doing stuff.
Minka, the reason that I haven't seen many vampires before is because of the Dome of Alendar. There are many trapped within. There are many bad things within that place.
I knew about the Dark One, Mythics. We had a book. We lost the book. But we know where the book is.
Well,
I'm sorry, okay? It was an accident.
there is a green dragon that is supposedly still housed within the Onyx Spire when it was sealed. the eyeless witness was kept captured there. There was a poisoner that was quite famous that was captured within there as well. The Knight of Thay, Padme Clive, the Ghost of Madness, Zentosh Groxbad. There, all manner of evil folk were captive in there. There was a substantial interplanar prison erected within. Part of why it was sealed was as the place fell to a further darkness to keep it away from everybody else. That can't be allowed to happen.
Yeah, so we've been out and about trying to figure out what's going on with that because we accidentally found out about it at the party where the mansion burned down, and that's also where we found the vampire because we were searching about a political murder. But
A political murder.
yes. Oh no. So originally when I left, I met Hearsum at some point because he was looking for people with things that he needed to have done and stuff to be justiciars of the Four Seasons and the Pact of the Treaty, the whole thing, right? And the first thing that we did as a group was investigate a political murder that happened.
Who murdered this person?
That is a great question.
Minka, if a political murder happened and it has to do with the fracturing, it would make sense that the person responsible for the murder might lead you to the fracturing.
Yes, it does, because that was how we got to Dietrich's house. I know, but it takes a minute for my brain to turn the gears.
I don't think Alice knows that.
Alice doesn't know that.
The person that died, they were in the Adarian Fernway. So they died. They were killed by poison that we linked back to Dietrich. And that's why he went to his mansion. That's why he went to the party. And he was a vampire. And that's how he heard about the fracturing. And he had become a vampire sometime after his late wife died. And he was upset about it. And apparently that upset somehow got moved into revenge, probably. That's my assumption.
Okay.
Yes. His mansion burned down. Mostly kind of not our fault, but we definitely also didn't stop it from burning down. That's where Rez comes from.
From the mansion.
Yes, we found Rez in the mansion.
Minka.
Why did you tell her that?
Minka, Rez is a devil. And I should tell you, I have negative feelings about devils.
Understandable.
There was a time when I served under the Night Warden of Thea the Smiling Whisper, and as we did so, it was because there was a devil named Drutruzizar the Decimator, and when they wanted to cause problems in Dungannon, they installed politicians that would cause it. This is a fiendish play. This has fiendish fingerprints all over it.
It does, because when we went to the scary castle where the psilocybin is, who we were pretty sure is connected to the fracturing, because we also all following their path, we ended up figuring out that the hags are also somehow involved, which somehow all loops back around to the Crimson Spire. So we found the Ambersworn in ice in the castle after we defeated a fiend. Fiend. And we saw the tomb of Levistus through a portal.
Levistus.
Burying the lead.
I'm just giving him all a heart attack. That's the goal of this conversation now.
Okay. I have fought devils. I have even hunted dragons, but Levistus is the lord of the hells.
made eye contact with the glacier.
You did not.
Yes, we did. I swear it was. We saw the glacier. It was
Minka,
far
how
away.
could you possibly think that's a good idea?
We didn't. Okay, listen. We walked into the room and the portal was already open, and we were debating whether or not we were supposed to go through it, to close it, because the first portal we found to the Shadowfell we had to go through to close, but this one, we turns out we did not.
Minka, I knew I could never keep you safe, but I had no idea. I have been worrying about you every night since you left, and I have not worried half enough.
Okay, to be fair, we, through Ressa's help, realized what it was, did not approach, because we are not complete idiots, only mild idiots. And the Shadowfell problem was we legitimately had to go through. We really tried to close the portal from the outside and it did not work because it had already taken root. So we do try to not be walking disasters.
Minka, please don't go back to the hills. But further than that, this fracturing group, they cannot be allowed to succeed.
Right. That's what we wanted to go talk to the Winter Court because they oversee it. But then Hearsome said that we shouldn't yet. We needed more stuff.
Because we suck.
Because of our particular
Go get some
ability to
fucking
trip
kicks.
into more trouble, he suggested we get some more items, better
It's
things. Better
wise to
equipment.
go equipped for such a journey. But are you not ready now?
I don't know.
Well, I trust you, Minka. Don't go before you're ready, but don't go too late either.
Yeah, we have at least one more thing to wrap up before we go. Darkbriar. Probably. There's so much happening. It's really hard to keep this all straight.
It does. But fiends and hags and this dietray, all of them have to do with loss. Hags prey on it, fiends prey on it, and dietray seems to have been consumed by it.
Yeah,
That seems to be a thread to follow.
yeah.
If there's anything I can do to help, please, anything that we can do to help.
Well, the first thing is that we definitely lack information because we are bad at asking the right questions. This is something that we've been told multiple times, and then we asked too many questions, and then we got our stone stolen, revoked. So, when inevitably tomorrow we ask more questions and don't know what to do, if you have any good ideas, could you just let us know?
Yes, of course.
Because we really need some guidance from someone who isn't Hearsome. He's really bad at giving guidance, Mom. Like, really bad.
I haven't met him personally, but
You're not really missing out on much.
I suspect I am. He's an interesting individual, and he's always been at the heart of the important things that have gone on in this continent.
He's also kind of a jerk.
I've heard that. But what he's asking you to do, if it is to stop this dome from breaking, that is the right thing.
Well, that's something. At least one thing we're doing is on the right path and not just, you know?
I'll think about who else I might know that you might speak to.
Okay.
Part of being a bit older than I look is that I have quite a few old friends.
Okay.
But you should rest now.
Yeah.
And I'll think on who I might be able to turn to for help.
Thanks. And sorry.
There's nothing that you have to be sorry for. Except for maybe bringing the Ambersworn.
Okay, that one I couldn't get around.
It's a very questionable decision, Minka.
I know.
but she kind of like tucks you in.
She was so
sleep.
cool.
She's like,
You should have seen her mom. She was so cool. What was I supposed to do?
How was I supposed to say no to that?
I understand that. In my time as a paladin, there were people that I was awestruck by, and they were maybe not the best people to put myself around at that time. But she tucks you in for bed and gets you all ready.
Did Lot just say she was a paladin?
Yeah,
Did I
she
hear
sure
that?
did.
Okay.
She sure did.
But you find rest. Anybody else have anything they want to do before the evening expires?
Or is just drowning sorrows
Has
until the wine is gone.
I'm sleeping.
has the fellow dream guy been sleeping the entire time I've been?
Yeah, he's been
resting?
like passed out.
All right.
Okay, he passed out.
Cranston.
All of you find your beds, some of them in the house of rest, some in your very own childhood bed.
Yeah, that's great.
All of you sleep.
Trance.
Many of you sleep, but a couple of you also trance.
Trance.
Alina,
Yeah?
as you rest,
Yeah?
you dream something a little different than normal. But because it is 8:47, we're going to step away for a quick break, and then we'll come back to finish our session. Got a little into the roleplay. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Thank you for sticking with us. There's a countdown on your screen. We'll be back at the end of it. And we're back and on time, and we didn't come back late at all. Thank you for sticking with us through the break if you did. If not, welcome to our D&D
Have a
game.
dream now.
We'll go ahead and change our music up a little bit here.
Oh, we dreaming.
Dream or nightmare?
Unhinged. It's absolutely unhinged.
One of the medications I'm on has a side effect of like vivid dreams, so now I have to take another medication to make the dreams not so vivid anymore. But you know, I imagine we're going on the vivid end of the spectrum now.
Alina, as you rest, you dream. And you dream of a dark autumnal wood. There is a carpet of dry leaves that swirls around your hooves in the chill wind. And you are in a forest that consists of oaks. You can see maples, tupelo trees, ginkgo, and towering shrubs of this red-turned crepe myrtle that kind of sprouts out like fire. You look up, and you can see, shockingly in this space, stars. Thousands of them. And a huge yellow moon that hangs like an orb of fire high overhead. It glows bright and brighter until you have to look away and shield your eyes, and in that moment the wood creaks and the leaves rustle, and in the deep shadows of the overwhelming light you can behold a dark and glowering face. It shifts, and as you can see, two huge eyes like burning fire amongst the fiery crown of leaves. And as the wood creaks again, you can see the outline and suggestions of a human face clad in a mask made from the head of a stag. Massive antlers sweep back behind them like a crown of fire. And they speak, and you know in your heart that this is Cernunnos. And they say, Alina, you have protected the wild. Through your actions, you have given life. Through your actions, you have taken life. This is the way of the hunt. Beasts must fall for others to rise. The plants must wither and die to make way for fresh roots. And you can see in an instant the blindingly washed out forest cycles through all the seasons, once and then twice and then 5 times and then 10. And it's dizzying to see the blur of change. But with that as a backdrop, you behold the Lord of the Hunt in all of their terrifying presence. And they say, death and life, life and death. I charge you, Alina, as my champion. And you feel this light overwhelm you, and Alina, suddenly you feel yourself ignite in flames.
Yeah.
And through the heat, it's almost unbearable, but for a moment, it matches the intensity that you feel in battle when that kind of drum overtakes you, and you can hear the drums around you. And Cernunno says, live a good life and help others do so. Earn a fine death and bring those who would impede on the wild places of the world a death worthy their station. Rise, Alina. Be reborn in the fires of the hunt. And not in your dream, but for all of you who are still within the House of Rest, you can see Rez's eyes are wide as they behold Alina rise up, and the waistcoat shifts from the leaves that are already vibrant in color to actual cinders falling off the edges of them as Alina lifts up, floats 3 feet off the ground, and then gently alights on their hooves. And Alina, you have completed your long rest. You have leveled up, and you have made those changes to your character that we have discussed. There is only one other person in the room as all of this happens, aside from those of you who have found your place to the House of Rest. But as you all wake, you are a little bit stronger than you had found yourself falling asleep. And give me 1 second here. Alina, as your hooves touch the ground, it is the 6th of High Sun. It is Saturday. And you can see this individual who had been asleep for the entire previous day is the only other person on this floor. They wake up. You can see they have taken over the bed that at one point that goblin had occupied, but they watch you wordlessly this entire time. Is the rest of you reacting to this in any way? Ori and Avalis, presumably you were both awake since you tranced and only took 4 hours, so you saw all of this happen.
Whoa. She doesn't always do that when she sleeps, right?
That was new.
Am I asleep or awake?
Now you're like just waking up. And weirdly, you're on your feet, but aside from that, you don't feel any different. You feel arrested. You look different. The waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider around you, it drips little cinders off the edge of the leaves that seem to always smolder. Aside from that, you feel that your power has substantially changed in a way that is hard to really put your foot on at first, but perhaps we'll see.
Lena, are you okay?
Yeah.
I described what I saw to her, like, with the rising, and now
Phallus starts to talk, and then in your mind, overwhelmingly, you hear Rez, who goes, "Oh, Lena, you were on fire, and you were flying around."
Okay. I mean, I had this dream.
What happened in the dream?
The guy who is across the bed looks at you, and he says, You saw the eyes as well.
Yeah.
And I was staring at you from across a great space. And you felt the end of days coming too, yeah?
I don't think we had the same dream.
Oh.
Wait.
He goes and kind of gingerly sits
Ear
down.
for deceit.
Make an insight check. And for what it's worth, the one that you did on Adimu, not a lie told.
I assumed as much. This guy, though, 18.
With an 18, as you have this ear for deceit, everything that they said they believed.
Alina's going to...
This is the guy who knew about the Glover, too, right?
This is the guy who knew about the Glover. This is the guy who said they saw Billy in their dreams as well.
What's your name?
Who's asking?
And Alina kind of looks at her hand and then flicks it experimentally, and Produce Flame ignites, and she's like, Champion of Sir Nunos?
Make an intimidation.
Sorry, intimidation. Bad. 19.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. My name's Jesper.
Jesper?
Jesper.
Jesper. Tell me about your dreams.
There's an eye and he's staring at me from across a great distance, and it means the end of days.
What, I'm sorry. So your name's Jesper, right?
Are you all champions of this person?
No. We're just, associates. Yes,
Weren't you one of the ones that we rescued from
Yeah.
the cave?
Yes.
Are you doing
the
okay?
Storks. Thank you very much for rescuing us as well. Sorry about your friend, the one with the head.
You seem to see things, yes?
I think we all see things.
Right,
mostly.
but things that, appear to you in some way? Like whatever you and, my associate here, have shared?
We didn't share anything.
Alina.
You didn't dream of Sir Nunos.
Alina.
I don't know who that is. It didn't feel like a sir.
But you saw, you said, something staring back at you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I could peek around through the sky and just look at me and...
And you saw our other friend, in another dream, Billy?
The bruised one, yeah.
Right, is that the same dream?
I don't know if it's the same dream, but they're scary. They all feel the same.
Have you had any other strange dreams like that?
Lots.
Don't suppose you keep a dream journal?
I'm not big on the writing, but I could tell you about them if you want.
I would be interested in hearing of probably some of your dreams at least.
I had a dream almost every night that I know that the school year's done. I know everything's finished, but all of a sudden I've never gone to a class.
Alright, maybe all the future.
What do you think that means?
I guess,
People are always staring at me in those too, but the eyes are different.
yeah, the ones with the eyes, more generally.
Eyes creeping out of shadows, eyes staring from the sky.
I
Eyes
haven't seen
looking out.
anyone else here in any of your dreams, just bruised one.
Just a bruised one.
Jesper, I was told that you were able to identify that the murderer within the Enclave was the Glover.
Yeah,
How
I've
did
got
you-
an ear for the truth. I can tell almost.
How did you do
I'll
that?
be honest with you, it's magic. But I know a spell that makes it so people can only tell the truth. And if you can trick people into walking into it, you can get them to just admit pretty much anything that they're lying about.
A zone.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
out of
you can
character.
call
I
it a zone.
prepped that spell for the next day, but we moved on, and now I'm mad. Okay, back in character.
I remember.
Back in character. Okay.
No, it's pretty helpful. People. I've never really had like a stable place to live, and people take a lot of the things that I have with me, and you can always find out with this area of certainty.
Alina has wandered off and is kind of playing with her produce flame, and like you can't see Rez, but she's like, tss, tss, you know,
Yeah.
like, we're like, oh my god, you're fireproof. I can do fire now. It's awesome.
Have you seen any dreams with strings?
He looks at you and goes, I mean, sort of. Sometimes it feels like when the eye pulls all these strings apart to look through. But, I mean, I never really thought about it like that. I always thought about it sort of like curtains.
Tapestries.
What about a tapestry?
Nothing. So, no other dreams with this eye. You said something about the end of days?
Yeah, it feels like if whatever that eye belongs to is able to get all the way out, that's going to be the end of us. It feels like, and I can't tell you why I know this, mate, but it feels like she is going to come out. I don't even know who that is. Do you think it could be my mum? I never met
I don't
her.
think. How old are you?
I would say probably between 25 and 30.
I don't think it's your mom.
How come you've never met your mum?
Well, a lot of us orphans never really meet our parents.
That's what happens.
It's part of the orphan experience, really.
Wholesome.
So, I'm glad that we were able to help you out of your dangerous predicament. Thank you for your dreams.
I guess you're welcome.
You mentioned that you never had a place to stay or live, but I'm sure the Enclave here would keep you.
I didn't want to ask, but I was sort of hoping. They've got free food. There was a whole pig last night.
Yeah, we made that.
Oh,
It's not gonna
I
last
said
like
I was
that.
gonna cobble with the thing, so we'll get to that.
I hope you had some pig while it lasted.
Oh, I did. I had two helpings.
Good.
You mentioned that you have some magic. Do you have anything that could help you find someone?
Yeah?
Okay. Okay.
Who do you want to find? I could do that for you. You all help me. I'd be happy to help you.
I'll just peek at Ori.
They've actually got... I mean, I could do it here, even. It's kind of a hard thing to
What am I
do.
supposed to be doing?
I'm just gonna look at Ori, and if he doesn't... Well, I just asked him,
I'm not
do you
convinced
have...
that Matt heard what you were doing.
Oh, I said, do you have any spell to help us find someone? And he said yes. I'm just kind of Val is just looking at Ori now.
You, what? You can help find someone, yes?
Yeah.
What, how, yes?
Yeah. I would need to know a name. If you could describe them. If I had a picture, that would really help. And then there's actually a place where we could do it here. These people have pretty much everything. It's sort of a great place.
How does the spell work?
I'll show you. Come on. Are you ready to go now?
Yes, I'm, yeah.
Do you want to do this now?
I mean, yes, I've
Do
we
you want to
should.
bring the
That's
rest
the
of your
point,
night?
right?
Okay.
I don't need them. No,
Okay.
it's just
Come on then.
I'm confused.
gets
I'm trying
up
to find your. I'm trying to
He
follow
starts
the
going
lead, Ori.
downstairs.
Dallas got like
Alice, are you following as well?
Demu.
Oh. Gets up and, like, really doesn't look the best. She looks a little hungover, but
she
she
can
definitely...
still. Yeah, she can hang.
Okay, she stays back.
You wait there.
She stays back. You, Valis, and this individual, Yespire, you make your way, and he leads you to the well. He makes his way over there and takes you down to this place where there are just these beautiful carved pieces of blue stone, these little messages inscribed behind. And as you get to it, unlike the last time that you may have seen it, it is all the way full. And he gets over here and he says, you know, I don't even know if they use it like this, but this ideal scrying pool. So who are you trying to find? Lover?
No.
Business partner?
No.
Wait.
Can I just give you the name?
Yeah, I guess. Sorry.
Fun out of it.
It's just, begging your pardon, but when I normally do this, it's a bit of a trick. And I usually say, somebody that you love, somebody that you love.
How do you usually do it then? I'll just play along. Just fine.
All right, so... For the lucky lad in the front, are you looking for love lost? Are you looking for love found? Are you looking for a business partner? Perhaps somebody has stolen something from you.
I'm
Name
looking
the
for
person,
a family member.
and the great Melaroon will find them.
The great.
What is the name of this
Is that
family
your-
member,
is that your
gentlemen?
stage name?
I'm in the middle
Should
of
walk
this.
shop. I'm sorry.
He starts to go, look, man, this is my last name. I didn't choose it. My parents gave me literally one thing, and it was that. So,
All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
anyways. Kind of like gets back in character. He goes, what is the name of this individual, lad?
Elisserai.
Elisserai. And what does she look like? Was she a child? Was she an elderly individual?
Blonde hair, elf. Roughly 40s, 50s.
As you describe this, he begins by asking questions, but very quickly stops, and you begin to describe little elements of them. And you can see it is like they lose focus slightly on you, and they're still listening, but you can see that there is something happening in front of them. Ori, could you please, for me, roll a d20?
Oh boy. Okay, 15.
A 15. Okay. Suddenly, they hold one hand out to shush you, one finger up, like right in front of your mouth. The other hand goes in front of this pool, and you see all at once the water becomes completely mirror calm and smooth, and it is flat. And you see it is like silver across the surface, and then it shifts almost like the water is slightly dappled, and in the reflections of the ripples, you can see your sister. You can see almost as if you are looking from over her shoulder. You can see that she is walking through a hallway that is not familiar to you. There is hard wood and high arches. There is a lot of light coming in, a tremendous amount of light. You can see her eyes are somewhat squinted, and she looks a little different than you recognize. At first, there were things that you mistook as maybe armor, but it's not armor. Make a history check. Make a nature check.
Do I get my thing?
You do.
Hey.
I love when Ori gets his thing.
I don't love that though. 7.
She turns to the left, and as the light strikes these elements that are on her face and on her skin, something reflects off of it. There is something that seems to be maybe growing out or adorning or worked in. Hard to tell. In the light, it kind of washes out, and you can't quite see the differences in her face. But she holds herself a little bit more upright. There is a power to the way in which she walks, and you can sense that there are people around her, but they take a pace or two back out of respect. You can almost feel that there is Imperium as she walks. This is much more like your father than your sister. But nevertheless, this is your sister, and you can see she walks through this house and reaches what looks like the portrait of an individual with your check, no idea, just some rich-looking dude but this rich-looking dude, like a portrait that has clearly been done by like a court. It's very fine, and you can see your sister touches the painting, and it disappears, and there is a deep and descending spiral stone staircase that is lit by iron torches with no fire but magic that sheds a very dim light that is kind of like a pale teal in the space. And she descends down, and as that happens, the spell ends.
Bring it.
Did it work?
Do it again.
Well, I can't do it again.
What do you mean you can't do it again?
Well, give me like a day.
That's your trick. How much do you charge for that?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. How much is a lot for that?
All right, don't tell anybody this. I've gotten away with. Silver.
What the?
Yes, what we saw.
I'm not a crook. All right, I need to make a living as well.
Did you
Yes.
see? Do you know?
Oh,
What,
did I so I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Could I make any type of check?
Make a history
answer
check.
this question
Make a
he's about to
history
ask
check.
me?
Sure.
Do I get my thing?
who was
There's no
that?
thing that you get. But I will say you don't need to make it a disadvantage, and that's nice.
All right. So you're lucky that I'm a little good at history. 18.
Who was that?
With the 18,
And Ori's just like slapping Valis on the shoulder. Remember?
this is a elf. The individual
Definitely
is
an elf.
depicted here, and based on the wear that you can see,
So bad.
they're the member of an organization that sprawls across much of Everest. It's a merchant guild, a shipping guild, in fact. You can see the outfits of the Lunarished that would kind of this is probably a guild master of the past. The finery that they wear, it is gold, it is diamonds. You can see what looks like a magical sword painted at their side. This was an individual of some standing. And with that check, I would say that's all that you could really tell. Yeah.
Okay. Anything? I think you had Ori do a check first for like the armor. Was that just to ID that it was Lunarish?
It wasn't the armor that he was checking on.
Oh, okay.
But what I will say is, with that check, what you did notice, Ori's eyes were washed out by the light that reflected off them. But when the sunlight hit the draconic scales that were emerging from his sister's face, you saw these black dragon scales that formed almost like plates on the cheeks, on the throat. And I would say, Valis, you've heard of dragonborn sorcerers, or not dragonborn, but sorcerers who, when they trace their lineage back somewhere, there is the hint of dragon blood somewhere with them. And that's almost what's manifesting here. This is typically associated with people who are well along their journey of uncovering their powers.
Ori, I think that person in the portrait was some Lunarish, perhaps past
Okay.
guildmaster, but
Okay, where?
more importantly,
Where was the? What? No, where was that? Where was? Do you know where the portrait would be?
do I recognize where that portrait could have been?
You don't recognize, like, it's just wood walls, and so, like, there's a lot of wood that exists in Everest, which is largely forest.
The Lunarish. we were near them, right?
There,
You were,
they
and
have-
actually, when
they
you
have a
say
guild hall
that,
in Darkbriar, right?
Yeah. That's what-
Jesper would say, "Oh yeah, I mean the guild headquarters is in Darkbriar.
I mean, if it's a portrait of a guildmaster, then
It's like soul of a famous house. Have you never been to Darkbriar?
Okay. Thank you. Here's your gold.
Uh,
Yeah, just keep it. Just go away, please.
I don't have any
now.
change.
Please, no, just go. Go, please, please.
Takes the gold and just wanders off.
was that right now what we saw in the?
It was like a minute ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Need to go to Darkbriar now. I'm okay with it. But we need to be careful.
You're not.
I don't think I want us to be discovered being there, if you know what I mean. But I need to get there.
Okay. It sounds like what I'm hearing is that I should try to talk as little as possible when we're there.
Just
I hear you.
try not to reveal too much to too many people.
Okay.
Despar makes their way back.
Thank you, Jesper.
He's gone. He's like, he left with the gold. Ori sent him away. If somebody gives this guy a piece of gold and tells him to do something, he will execute that command. He's gone. So, yeah, he's probably back in the House of Rest by now.
I'm gonna, now that he's gone, I'm gonna say, why does your sister have black dragon scales on her?
What?
Yeah, in the pool right now. Did you not notice that on her face?
I mean, I saw something, but I didn't. Black dragon scales.
Yeah. Is that perhaps the source of her magic? Well, I'll turn to Adimu because she's here.
No, she stayed back because
Oh, she stayed back. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We're playing
Well-
patty cake.
I mean,
I think that's what I saw. I don't know.
it's just, there were rumors, at the best, I guess, my family would claim that we were related to dragons, but it was something that was more, one of those things, I don't know, nobility is kind of stupid with that sort of thing. I never really took it seriously. I don't think anyone ever did. I don't... This has got to be a coincidence.
You hear whistling. It's faint, but soon enough, Lot makes her way down this well. She's carrying a little bucket, and she would kind of stop and go, "I'm very sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but
No.
Mink is going to wake soon, and I'm trying to make breakfast.
Of course.
You're all
Sorry.
welcome to come if you would like."
Yeah, yes.
Kind of makes her way awkwardly by you and just dips the pail in and gets some water.
Can we help in any way?
I wouldn't say no to carrying this water.
Of course.
Follow me. And just makes her way back up the stairs.
Do I? I don't know where I am.
You have your long rest. You would see, like, they leave, a little bit of time passes. Jesper comes back holding a gold piece up. Like, they're staring at it, like, in wonder. This is like Legend of Zelda. They have found an item in a dungeon. And they're, like, overjoyed by this.
Not a sponsor.
Nobody else is paying attention to this. Nobody really, like, exchanges gold here. And so it's not really meaningful to other people. But they are stoked. And you see them come back, and then you see everybody else kind of leave with Lot heading away from the House of
I
Rest.
follow. I'm like, wow, good job. Bye.
Lot, I am sorry about the Amber Swarm. It's really my fault. She is helping find my sister, and I am not necessarily.
Regardless of
happy
what the
about it as
reasons
I am.
are that somebody ends up here, once they're here, it's best to just accept that.
Right. Well, that's a good outlook, and I appreciate it. Thank you, and thank you for helping us.
Do you like pancakes?
Yes, I do.
Good. And she starts moving off, and you make your way back to Lot's house.
On the way back, I'm just gonna say to Lot that Jesper was too hesitant to ask, but I think he would like to stay here within the Enclave.
Okay. She'll nod, and she'll say, "That, of course. We are happy to welcome people into our ranks." Yes, Selena.
What did I learn about the magical plate when I cuddled it, which I said I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't require attunement. There's not a lot more to learn about it. I would say, if anything, what you would learn is that there is some artificing to this. It's old. That's the biggest thing that you kind of take away from this, is as you go back, you look for, like, there to be something that comes to you about an origin, and it doesn't. This stretches back. This item is at least 100 years old, if not older.
So, do I know then what Adimu meant when she said, "Oh, this is what I would use this for"?
You heard her mention that the artificers would have something interest in this.
Oh, so
Perhaps
they
it
would want to like.
really specifically
remake it,
has to
yeah.
do with artificing,
Okay,
perhaps.
gotcha.
Does it do what we think it does? Like, could you just reiterate what it does again?
When you press the button and you imagine a meal, it will unfold, and this meal will be created. It's real food. It tastes like real food. It will endure for
God.
the duration of its time.
you press the button and you think of it, and it sends a psychic message to a chef in a place who cooks it up for you.
Really fast. Yeah.
Puts it through the little room door.
Ori is the same kind of person that
Hermione's
believes
whole arc in, like,
Xerox
book
machines are
five.
just a guy copying robots.
Exactly. Fuck. An order's coming in quick.
It's actually like some like line chef's like purgatory. Just the eternal line.
If you ever play the game Overcooked,
Yeah.
they're making the meals for us.
You make your way back to Lot's house. This is a place that is very much, there's an eclectic variety of different things kind of gathered throughout the space. And Minka, you're probably awake as they come back. You're like, oh wait, where's my mom? And then you hear the whistling.
Yeah.
And your mom comes in, bucket of water, and a bunch of your friends.
Oh. Hey.
And she comes
Minka, look.
Cool.
not inside, please.
Oh, sorry.
And, goes about and says, Minka, we're having pancakes. And goes into the kitchen and she starts making these pancakes.
Excellent. Good morning.
Morning. Hey. Ori, did you learn anything good?
Do we know where we're going?
I think we should go to Darkbriar.
Him.
Good. Okay. We can do that.
I can get us there real quick.
It's also not that far.
I think I might need to go alone when we get there. Not.
We're here to help you.
Yeah.
You've helped us a lot. It's your turn, Ori.
It's just I don't know if we should be seen. I should be seen.
You're the sneakiest
Where-
guy I know.
True.
I think my sister is with the Lunage.
That's the trade organization, right?
Yes.
The shipping one, right?
Yeah, and you can see at this point, Lot
It
comes
was the
back with
one
a
where I
stack
was-
of
I
different
was looking
mismatched
over
plates
at
and starts
the-
setting them around. There's no central table,
I was
so
looking
it
over
hands
at that.
you a
It was
plate.
that guild hall that I had looked over at with Billy on the rooftops, right?
Correct. You had seen this particular guild. You had seen it has a huge glass face. This is a place that is kind of on the northern tip of the Still Harbor. You would remember it is located just off the 8th pier, in fact. It is a 2-story wooden lodge with a glass front that overlooks the water.
Just some of you are not necessarily the most stealthy, and I don't want us to put ourselves in any danger on my behalf.
Lot puts the plates down and she says, the Lunourished.
Yes.
That's a huge organization.
Yes.
You should be very careful if you're going to be going up against them.
I hope not to go up against them. I need to go in there.
Well, they're very secretive. If you're planning on getting entrance, you should find a way to do so that won't arouse suspicion.
They ship things, right? Do we have anything we can ship that they would care about?
What's in the bag
I'm
of
gonna
holding?
look over at Adimu.
The team's not with you guys.
Oh, she's
back
still
in the house.
hungover? Okay, cool. I'm actually glad that she hasn't heard any of this. Good.
Well, and Lena's gonna be like, we have 10,000 pieces of gold, give or take. We've got,
Right.
I
well,
told you we should have taken all those weapons from the Drow Fortress. We could have shipped those.
yeah, there's not a lot in here that we can ship. And she reaches in and
Beyond
pulls out
shipping,
something. that I forgot we had, which is a fire giant's toenail, which belongs to Billy, so I'm just going to put that back.
It's a lot like covers her nose for a second. It's not in great
Gross.
condition. And it wasn't in good condition to begin with.
No.
But yeah, no problem. You do that.
Have anything to ship. I'm
Lot would say, beyond that, you would really need to be a merchant to gain entrance. You would need the appropriate seals, and it being Darkbriar, there's a process to go through for that as well.
I know how to
is
get
why
into the
I-
ice makers.
Which is why I
headquarters?
figured it would be easier to just go alone. Well, at least, if...
Here's the issue with you going alone. We tend to get into trouble as a fact. If you go alone and inevitably get into trouble, we won't be able to help you.
I know.
You could go as the merchant, but the rest of your group could go as guards. I still have old Red Shield Guard uniforms you could wear. I don't think they're current, but I don't know that anybody would know that.
Oh,
Not this far west.
that's something.
I don't want you to be alone on this. And then she's gonna be like, the uniforms, yeah, can we see them? I think that's
Of course.
a good idea.
She puts like a couple pancakes down on people's plates and then goes back and she refills the pancake like platter, but also goes and grabs these uniforms. And she would bring back 3 uniforms, all sized to fit Lot. But they bear this like bright red shield, very simply painted on the front. It's like a tunic. And she would say, I might have some of the original leather armor as well, but I didn't really have much of a need for it, and I think I've given it away over time. But you're welcome to the uniforms. And I might be able to get somebody... I know someone who might be able to obtain the seals that you need to get in. You would just need a ship, or some way of arriving that would lend legitimacy to who you say you are.
A ship.
Alternatively, you could also sneak in.
That is
You
why-
brought an Embersworn with you? Well, I'm not thrilled about that. She might be able to help you get in,
True.
if she could be convinced.
That was why I was thinking I could just go in with a demo and hope
What
for
if-
the best. Again,
But
I
we can
don't
still
want
go to Darkbriar with you.
Well, I didn't say you wouldn't come with. I do need you to
What
use
if-
the teleporter.
What if we do the thing that we all hide in the ring and, just in case something were to happen, we would be there to help.
I'd be happy to loan you my ring, Ori. You don't even have to go inside.
I
It's
do
an idea, okay?
appreciate this from all of you,
Mm-hmm.
really. We can go to Darkbriar and maybe I'll try to see how amenable Adimu is to the situation.
We know a group in Darkbriar. Do you think the hand would help us? We haven't done
We
it.
haven't-
Do the favor we told them we would.
I don't think that the meritorious hand would particularly be aligned with whatever.
Well, I didn't know if they would have like a tunnel or something. You don't know.
What is the meritorious hand?
A group that is angry about the situation in Darkbriar.
They were trying to sabotage the
Matrocracy.
beetle train.
Why would anybody try to sabotage the beetle train? It's beautiful.
I don't know.
It was
Something.
really cool.
They seem to
There was
be
something
really
about
upset about
disrupting
They were
the current order.
smuggling or
upset by
Especially-
the hierarchy within the mediocracy.
Well, that makes sense.
Right.
And they thought
sympathetic,
that they
but,
were.
the beetle train. Who exactly? Who's going?
They
What?
thought that they were carrying. They thought that they were carrying. Before we came to Darkbriar, we came because we heard there were explosions, and the meritorious hand thought that the Amber Swarmer or something was using the beetle train to carry the explosive substances to Darkbriar. At least that was their claim.
I mean, I suppose it's possible, but I imagine they can make explosives in Darkbriar. Adimu could probably tell you more about that.
Right. That's why I was going to
Okay, next question.
work on her.
Do you know why anyone would want powdered amber?
Yeah, we had been talking about the amber. There was a place that existed not far from here that was called Salt. And it was this may seem odd to all of you, as you've encountered clearly some sort of giant that seems a little bit less than savory, but it was clearly not a stone giant. There was a stone giant community, and I'd visited it a number of times. There were artisans, and Salt was a place of great beauty. They practiced a form of art that involved crafting amber into a harder substance that could be used for buildings, all sorts of beautiful things. And when salt was sundered and that amber became powdered, it kept some unique qualities. It can be used to do all sorts of things, and I would imagine the Ambersworn have a lot of interest in that. As for who would want it, anybody. It is raw magic.
Oh.
Sorry, Salt is the name of a city?
Yes, Salt is the name of a city, but I believe it may also be the name of either a historical person for the stone giants or perhaps a god. I'm not very familiar with their religion, but there is a city. There was a city named Salt.
And where was it?
It was located deeper in the Underdark than here, and perhaps a little bit further to the northeast.
The city we saw?
Of which?
So where the jail was, that was a sundered
That was like
area.
a ruins, right?
Ruins, yeah.
That was certainly the ruins of like a drow city. Yeah.
Drow City. Okay. I don't think we saw any evidence. I think we were near. Wait.
We didn't
Make
really
a
go
flat
that.
intelligence check.
We didn't really go that far.
No, but we started to look at something. 7.
You didn't see anything giant.
No, definitely not. I'm trying to get the map. Oh, there's the bomb place on the map. Like the boom place?
Bum bum bum.
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
So what do you want to do, Ori?
Well, I think regardless, we need to head to Darkbriar. I think we're going to have an easier chance being more subtle than our usual route. I do think that the ring is a good idea.
It would definitely help us be less noticeable because we're kind of obvious.
The Merchant Guild is likely to be stuffy.
One of the people that you freed from the jail went to Darkbriar. And you helped all of them out of a terrible place, it would seem. They might be an ally for you there.
Do you remember their name?
Yes. I believe... Give me 1 second here. It was a half-orc. Their name... Oh, I shouldn't tell you. They prefer to go by Mo. And they said that they were going to sell some of the piping that they had stolen from the stocks and drink until they can forget everything that they had gone to.
I remember that guy.
It is, they're in a place called the Dirty Windows Inn. And I've never heard of it, so it must be relatively new.
Okay.
They lean into you, Minka, and they whisper, his name is Mo Regard. Mo Regard Ratleg. If you can believe that.
I know.
What's your passive perception?
You hear that, yeah.
I read the lips.
Yeah, you can do that too. The rest of them went off to different places. There was a human woman named Clay, and she went off to Novistock. There was a series of drow, and they seemed to be going to Zaye, and then there was a few Duragar as well, and they seemed to be heading far away from here.
Okay.
Are the Duergar still here?
No, they left.
Okay.
There's one that stayed behind Erdum, and they, I believe, are going to be staying with us at least for the foreseeable future. Cordodrune had gone around as well. There's 2 of them. I don't know if the second one stayed.
Okay. So we're gonna go to Darkbriar.
I should actually probably send somebody out to go look for that second one. His knees were not great.
Oh. We met some other Duergar.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to the Duergar that's still here. We've been hearing a lot about Darkholm and the barrier, and I'm just curious about it.
That's where the other Duergar went back to. They said that they were going to go report on how serious the psilocybin is. So,
And we've been encountering a lot of that too, so... The psilocybin, so...
Well, it's also now pretty clear that the psilocybin is the Dark Lord.
Josh
Josh.
Dread
Vizier.
Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen-throated Dread Lord. Josh Vizier.
Zosh Vizier is still alive.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. We're
And
like
is-
98% sure.
I am
Sorry, was
fairly
that a
certain.
question or a statement?
It's a question.
I am fairly certain that the creature known as the psilocybin is Josh Vizier. Call it a hunch.
Vistus.
We saw Dream Silk tapestries.
Really?
They're really cool. And then they fell apart. But
Zosh Vizier is a drow,
yes,
so that makes sense.
in the castle, there was a bunch of tapestries that showed him conquering each group in the Underdark.
It doesn't sound great that he's still alive, then.
No, it doesn't. And also working with devils.
You know,
Well, he's working with one less devil now.
the Duergar had mentioned perhaps forming an alliance with us. They had mentioned somebody that was sort of a leader to them. And they were going to speak to her about this. Maybe it is a good idea to connect a bit more down here.
Did they mention who the leader's name was?
Not a name, a title. The Grey Lady.
We've heard that before.
We've heard that before. Where have we heard that before?
Was it the other Duergar?
It was the Duergar that we freed when they had been trapped. And
Someone else mentioned her. Someone mentioned her, and that she was in a fighting something. Maybe it was against the psilocybin. Is that what we heard?
yes.
Of course, Kara, when you know.
I know, right?
It was the Duergar were down there mining, and then they got captured. Well, a couple of them got killed. The last three were there, like, trapped.
Correct.
And they were down there because, basically, yeah, the psilocybin was, like, at odds with what the Grey Lady was trying to do, because the Grey Lady, I think, was going after the dragons, or, like, preparing, because there was the
So the first part of that, yes, definitely happened. The second part, we're veering into kind of maybe your beliefs on this.
Oh, okay.
You haven't gotten anything that would confirm that.
Oh, I think I'm getting it conflated with, because it was when the Lord was there.
Hello.
Similar times.
Yes.
Okay, this is a stretch, but I do want to mention it, just in case. So both times we've kind of gone through this. Once was in, where were we?
Kir Taladar
Yes, and
in the Shadowfell.
in the Shadowfell. But before then, there were dwarves were being forced. The Duergar were being forced to make a weapon, and then there was the portal to the Shadowfell, and then a weird creature, and we defeated them.
I
Closed
believe
the
it was
portal.
also a fiend as well.
Yeah,
A fiend that was...
succubus.
So that you're all
Yeah.
aware, fiends don't just appear on the material plane. Almost always they are invited as summoned. So if there is somebody who continues to create connections with fiends, finding that person would be imperative to stop it from happening again.
Because when we went and freed Lormar, he was also being forced to make something, a weapon, in a place connected to a portal with a fiend.
That doesn't seem good.
No, strange. Okay, well,
Lot, do you know what a memory loom is?
Yes.
I think we've encountered one, but we don't know I don't know much about them, and I think one of my memories was on it. Could you tell us what you know about
Well,
memory looms?
your memory couldn't have possibly been on it.
I was banished from the Austin Lock.
Okay.
He's had memories stolen from him.
Lately,
Oh. So, from what I know about memory looms, they're used to extract thoughts and weave them into strands. There's magic that can do this as well. Not many people know it. But you can encode thoughts into threads and share them amongst other people. You can do quite a few things with them. And in the right hands, you can make them come alive in unconventional ways as well. Memory looms are, as a rule, not crafted by people on this plane. They're fey creations. They're misappropriated, they're used for a variety of different things, but where did you find one?
In the Shadowfell that we accessed from Kir Teledar, the succubus was there that we defeated, and I have the string that I think used to have my memory on it, so I'm gonna pull it out, and I think this is the one that had my memory on it.
Okay.
Scroll.
He rubbed off. That's a cat hair.
Someone used it. What is this?
She looks at the string. She doesn't take it immediately. Her hands kind of go up, and then she pulls them away, and she says, would it be okay if I looked at this?
Yes. The last time I looked at it, I couldn't... Yes.
They focus on the strings, and you watch as they spread their hand out, and they cast a spell. And as they do,
Do I recognize the spell?
make an Arcana check.
Identify.
Oh my god. Natural one.
No.
That's definitely...
You've
that's
never
maybe a
seen
spell.
magic
Yo, is
missile
that
not do any damage
prestidigitation?
before. It almost always seems to hit, but Lot misses with this one.
Lightning bolt.
For you have probably seen Lot cast Detect Thoughts when you look especially guilty when something is broken on the floor. And so you know that Lot casts Detect Thoughts. And as she touches this encoded thought, you can see she says, "It's simple, but it's just you making something. Dough or bread. And there's cute little shapes that are all around, made out of something like paper, but thicker. I can't quite tell." And you can see she closes her eyes, and marzipan. That's what it is. And maybe it's a beautiful kitchen. I've never seen anything like this. There's so much glass. And you can see, like, on her face, even though she is just in the same space as you, for just a moment, it's like you are seeing sunlight pass through green glass, and it just flashes across her face. And then she regains her focus, and she says, "It's a beautiful memory. Odd that it would be on a memory loom. The only thing that I could think of is they can be used to weave dream silk out of other thoughts. And so if this was bought as maybe a batch, what happened to your thoughts after they were taken from the Ocelot?"
I don't know. What...
I
I
have
don't
some
know
dream
what
silk.
happened.
You just hold on to this, and
Wait, what is that?
Dream silk.
Ah.
I pocketed some.
so are you just holding it with your hand?
I think
Make an intelligence saving throw.
From where is it?
You reach into your pocket, and the
wearing gloves?
second that you touch it with your hand,
Dang it.
you hear
Memories.
It is
gone.
it is like several violin of the, what are the things called that you,
The bows.
yeah, it's like several violin bows are
It's
all being
fine.
scraped across each other at different angles.
it's fine. I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, phenomenal.
Nice.
For just a moment, Minka, as you touch this, you feel yourself begin to lose consciousness. You feel yourself begin to drop into a sleep, and then you snap out of it. You pull your hand away, and you remember Dream Silk is called Dream Silk because it puts people to sleep.
Yep.
And so you take some gauzy fabric, you wrap it around your hand, and then you reach in and you pull it out. It still almost makes your teeth chatter, but you pull it out, and you can see Minka's mom, your mom, immediately drops Detect Thoughts and says, "No, please put that away."
I read for Cheshire.
That's been worked already, and the memory's afraid, and that's loud.
Is that why? Do they not all sound like that?
No.
Everything that we
You can see like the one that Valis has. It is just like a glimmering single strand of like silver that glows. When you saw like Dumbledore pull the thought out of Harry Potter, it's like that. What you're holding is like bright red. It vibrates and thrums with this angry energy. Very different.
Okay.
How do I
Making a little bread.
reincorporate this into
Pain.
myself?
Suffering.
Oh, you could have just asked. And she takes the string from your hand and just pulls it taut, and it snaps and just disappears, and you remember. It is a single thought, and it's not marzipan. You know that in this moment you are making bread. You are using elements of a starter to like make an actual larger dough. You know that you haven't proofed it yet. You know intuitively if you reach down to your left, you can pull open a proofing drawer. You know where everything around you is. And you know everything about this moment in time. But there is so much that is missing on the edges of it. It is just a single memory that has been restored to you. And Lot says, if you've had more taken away, I could restore them for you. It's very easy, but we need the threads.
Is it possible for you to teach one of us how to do it? Because in case we're not able to make it back here. It looks like you just broke it.
Oh, she hasn't told you.
Who
Minka?
Who hasn't told what?
Cheshire.
I don't remember her name. Cheshire, yes.
Cheshire.
I saw her walking by playing with some kind of a memory, so I assumed that she had told you, but she seems to be able to do that as well.
Wait, she had a memory?
I believe so. It wasn't like, no offense to you, the one that you have. It looked like one.
I need to have a few words with her.
Where did you acquire
makes
that one?
sense.
Perhaps from the same place.
No, the one that
The other one was store-bought.
the one you just helped with, I believe, was from the
You can't
memory
make your own
room that we saw in the Shadowfell. The ones that Minka are holding are from Josh Vazir's fortress.
Yes, those have been worked already, and so getting memories from those would be that's beyond me.
It's more word evidence. Angry, chittering evidence.
Yes.
So wait, do you just...
Is there anything you can do to...
It's
It's
Val.
gone now.
She's saying that Cheshire can cast the same spell.
to alleviate?
You don't just.
Okay, so I shouldn't
There's-
just...
No, there's more to it than that.
Okay.
Say again?
Okay.
Can you alleviate the worked memory threads?
What do you mean by alleviate? I
said
could
it was
dispel the
without.
magic, but I wouldn't.
It's a bit disappointing, I guess.
No,
All those memories.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even if they're damaged, it's not really up to me to take them away.
Thank you.
Of course. You've kept Minka safe through a lot. She caught me up on your adventures last night.
And she's kept us safe.
She nods. She says, somehow that doesn't surprise me.
I'm almost.
Well,
Okay, we're going to Darkbriar. We're gonna do it. We're gonna finish these pancakes.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out how to get to Darkbriar.
Lot. Does anybody in town, well, in this community, sell the components for the teleportation? Sir, you gave me some before, which was very generous.
Regrettably, that's what we have right now.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's mostly just powdered gem dust, correct?
Yes. I have enough to get us to Darkbriar. It's okay. I just want to figure it out. Check.
But we have a lot of ways of acquiring it, and so we can set some aside for you the next time that we find it.
Sure. Thank you.
thank you for everything.
For all of you, the Enclave is a place that people come when they're lost. And to some degree, I believe that all of you probably are.
Oh, yeah.
But that means that you have a home here as well. You can always come back, and if there's ever a way that we can help, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lot.
Okay.
Now, I am going to try and convince our Amber Swan associate to go along with our plan for me to masquerade as a potential member of the Merchant Guild and escort me on my behalf while you are all at the ready in the ring
Okay.
when things inevitably go awry.
Good plan.
That is our plan before we head off to Darkbriar.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, think about what code phrase you want to use.
Ooh, should I be like a little pet? Should I be like a rat has been a classic so far, but I don't know.
Ori looks incredibly pale.
You get the sense that this is going to go great.
At least you know she's safe.
She's alive. Confirmed, I'm assuming.
She's alive.
Okay. Which is great. Great first step. And then we know roughly where she is, or at least a place where we can get information probably, because if she's not in this guild, then maybe they have information about what she's been up to.
We should go. I think time is likely of the essence.
Yes, draw.
Oh,
I don't close it yet. Don't.
I'm
You
going
can see
to.
Lot goes, right in my floor.
Yeah, sorry, Lot. And then,
Lot goes, and she
but
starts
then the
moving
damage is
stuff
done
around.
because the components are so valuable. Alina's like,
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I
she
just
starts like moving chairs and stuff. She like makes the room for
I
it.
will go tell Adimu about.
go figure out the plan. I want to grab some gold and silver threads.
Okay.
We won't leave without you. I'm just getting
Well,
ready.
I would hope not.
Let's go rescue Ori's sister.
Are we forgetting someone?
I'm going to try to ease her into this plan. Okay. So just
We'll leave you to it.
just don't say anything very obviously directly specifying any of the details of our
I
upcoming
will
plan.
stay here.
Yes. Remember what we talked about earlier? Yes. Wonderful. Okay.
Before we go, I'm gonna go find the Dorgar.
Okay. If you ask, Lot will point you in the direction, and the Durgar is down helping individual who is known as Gordon's Grit Gasket.
Oh, that's a name.
Gordon's yes.
Gordon's Grit Gasket, if you make your way down, they are in a space that is kind of like a workshop. There's floating debris, gears, and screws that are all floating off the ground where like a table ought to be, but they are all just neatly kind of hovering in place. You can see that the Duragar that you had all rescued from the stocks is there. They're assisting an individual who is a deep gnome. You can see their skin is flaky a little bit. It's a little dry. They are both holding elements of a chair that had been here the last time you had been here. It
Is
is
this
now
a floating chair?
Yes, and
Yeah.
it is now just about to be finished. You can see they're attaching the leg back onto it, and the Duragar is there.
Greetings.
You can see.
I
this
think
Duragar looks up at you. They have a dirty kind of red, almost like rust that goes through their beard. You can see the beard itself braided. They look a lot better than you had last seen them, but still a little bit kind of like scrawny.
I think you said his name. Valis remembers. Vincent doesn't. Was
Erdrum.
It Erdrum?
Yeah.
Are you Erdrum, one of the ones that we brought back from the jail in the Drow ruins?
Klaus kan duiden kan doen te komen.
I say that again in Undercommon.
Speaking to Undercommon, he responds in Undercommon and he says, "Thank you, my common is not the best. Yes, I'm Erdum.
Erdum, could I ask you some questions just about Darkholme and the Darkholme barrier? We've been hearing about of it, and
Yeah, I'll tell you all about Darkholme if you want. You are one of the ones that saved us from the Starks.
yes,
We
Valis.
Good to meet you, Valis. You already know my name, but it's Erdum. Shakes her hand. What could I tell you about Our Lady or the home that we come from?
What is the Dark Home Barrier?
Oh, the Dark Home Barrier. It's a project. It's really a dream. It's the idea is the lady herself would like to make something that encompasses all of the Underdark, and it will keep us safe here from the danger that is to come from above.
So like a magical barrier, or?
Yeah, I mean, sort of the way that she describes it is encompassing it all in the protective gloom of the Dark Lady's domain.
Okay. Tell me about the Dark Lady.
Well, she goes by the Grey Lady, but she's a pretty dark individual. She looks a little bit like me, except that, she's a lady. And some people think she's a little bit scary, but really it is the fierce mask of a protector. She mostly just wants to protect us from all the dangerous things that go on up above.
Oh boy. So Valis probably might remember this. Vincent doesn't. The name of the dwarves that we helped in Kir Teledar, the ones that was forging the sword.
Go back here. I can tell you.
Somewhere, a bunch of campaign 1 characters are throwing up for no understandable reason.
I'm assuming that's what all this space is.
Yes.
That's campaign 1 stuff.
Yeah.
So Keylor Teledar.
This guy's got a pretty rosy perspective.
I remember
He
like,
also hasn't
one
mentioned
dwarf
Baby
who was
Edward
like
yet.
the captain, and they were making him forge the sword and his 2 guards.
Yes, I'm looking right now. That was session the 28. Damn, that was a while. It was, yeah. 2-8. Sorry, give me 1 second.
If you want to get back to this later, we can like do this at a different point.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good one. So let's just say that you recall their names, no problem. I'll remember what they are in a second.
Jeff 1 and Jeff 2. Placeholders.
Oh, you're talking about the brothers Jeff, yeah.
Yet again, we're really feeling the absence of Kara and her
I know, yeah.
stellar note taking.
Well, one of the only issue that I've come up with the way that I take notes is that now I have 3 different session 28s. I have campaign 1, campaign 2, and Mosaic, and so it's kind of hard sometimes to recall because I all have them keyed under 0 to 8. But that's a much more niche problem. Okay, here we go. So you recall these names. You mentioned these Duragar. You remember Granmere Igbar. You remember accompanying them was Tisdal Nerstra, and then Beldgrom Ernra were the other 2.
I think Beldron was probably the one that I spoke most with, but
Yeah.
I want to ask if he's heard of them and mention that they were also dwarves that we encountered and had helped when they were patrolling.
So in Undercommon they say, "Oh, you met the Firesmith Patrol. Phenomenal. They were alive."
They were alive, yes,
That's better than
and alive
I
when
thought.
we left them.
What? What? Did you send them into? What'd you do?
We found our way. They were, I think, held by a fiend, and we went into the Shadowfell and dispatched the fiend, but then we did not come back the way we came, so we don't know if their fate, but...
So they made it to the Shadowfell then?
They didn't... They might have been in there, but they weren't in the Shadowfell when we left them. They were still...
Well, good. I mean, that means that they can probably make it back to the Grey Lady then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know them. They're typically people who patrol the Grimrune Wall. I think they went out a bit further, perhaps, to explore some of the goings-on around here. That's why we're here.
Okay. Are you also from Darkholme as well?
Yeah, I like the Grey Lady a lot. She has expanded her inner circle recently, and some of the individuals that she's invited in are a little bit unnerving. And this group kind of gestures at the floating chair. They've got flying stuff. And the last time that I knew people that could do that, they sort of got wiped out. So it would be really cool to stick around here for a bit, and that's sort of my plan. The rest of the Durgar, they went back to Darkholme. They're going to tell the Grey Lady that the Celestine is not something to be taken lightly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Erdrum. Did I say that right?
Yeah, thank you, Valis. Appreciate the help from the Stocks. It was a terrible time.
Well, I must be off. Farewell.
They nod and they get back to working on the chair. You make your way off, no problem. The rest of you are eventually joined by Valis back at Minka's home. You finished creating this elaborate teleportation.
It only
circle
took a
in the
minute,
middle.
so I really was like going overboard on like the
no, yeah.
decorations, like trying to impress
back
Loki,
to
but
get the
also
What are you
just want to
saying
keep
to
my hands busy.
Rise and shine, Dino. How you feeling? How's the...
Fine.
So, we came up with a plan.
Not that. Can you just a little
We
quieter?
we came up with a plan, and I think it... so, my sister is in Darkbriar. Yay, we found that out while you were asleep.
Okay.
So, here's the thing, though. I need your help. Well, we have a teleportation circle getting ready to go, so why don't you, take a minute, go get some water,
Yeah.
get yourself set up, and then
Thank you.
I'll explain more on the way.
She gets up and goes and goes to the bathroom.
No time to
There's
explain.
water, yeah, all this kind of stuff. She takes a solid 15 minutes to get ready and actually dressed and stuff. Comes out looking a little bit less bleary eyed. You can see still wearing all tones of amber and blue. But she nods and she says, "So a teleportation circle?"
Yeah, it's over in another house. So just a bit of a way. But then so we're gonna go and just in the guild hall. We'll have to just get in there really quickly. You and I, probably just the two of us, and maybe you don't tell anyone who I am, and maybe pretend that I'm not the person that I am, and that you're my escort, and we'll figure out the details on the way. We should probably get going though, right?
Your sister is safe.
My sister is alive and in the Lunarish Guild Hall.
The nourished.
Yes.
And you want to get into the guild hall.
That is where my sister is? Yes.
The House of Shallow Faces is not an easy place to get in.
That's why I was hoping that you could help.
We have not been successful at getting in.
So, when I saw Ambersworn in Darkbriar, they weren't patrolling?
There are Ambersworn patrolling Darkbriar, but we cannot go into the Lunarish Guild Hall.
But I saw Ambersworn along the exterior of it as if they were guarding something.
You must be mistaken. They may have been on the exterior. We've sent patrols there before. The Lunarish control a lot of shipping throughout the Magiocracy, throughout much of Everest. And it's hard to inspect their cargo, to the point that we imagine there is some stamp dodging that is happening.
Well then...
I have conflicted feelings about you, Ori. I don't... Let me make this clear. I will do this, but not for you. I would like to see the books in that hall as well. Separately, your life is pretty hard. I don't intend to make it any harder.
Thank you.
Where is this teleportation circle?
It's over in Lot's home. She may also, she was the one that I was going to. It doesn't matter now. We know where my sister is, so
Very good.
we can go.
Good. She goes, picks up her bag, picks up this rod. She goes with you. You make your way to Lot's house, where Alina has put together the most elaborate teleportation circle that you have ever seen Alina put together. It is immaculate. Maybe this change in ability has created more powerful teleportation circles.
I think this might be my masterpiece.
Yeah, for sure.
Chalk?
While this is all going, can I just grab some jewelry making supplies?
You
before we go?
absolutely can.
Okay.
And from the stores, you can see your community has set aside a tremendous amount of gold and silver and copper wire. You would see there is a very small segment of wire that doesn't quite ring into the silver or gold. It's kind of somewhere in between. You haven't really seen this before. I would say, Minka, you, with your fascination in materials, would eventually realize that this is electrum, not native to this continent, something that typically comes out of many of the farther eastern regions of Alberon, but you absolutely, you can take some of that with you, no problem.
Okay, cool. I will take the tiniest spool of electrum.
There's just like
A single?
Yeah, it's like a tiny. It's not a spool. It's like
A little bit.
You could make
Touch it and
an electrum piece, but really it would be better used to make like accents to maybe
Yeah.
one piece.
I want to take it, but I also... I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the
Atta girl.
electrum, and then I'll take...
treat yourself.
I'll take...
Spoil yourself.
Minka, when you look at these things, the end of the wire is not crimped as it might normally be, and this is what really makes you know that it's okay for you to take. Somebody has gone through the trouble to put little bits of wax on the end so that you don't cut yourself, because sometimes when you get really excited, you grab things too quick. And when you take this, you recognize it really has been set aside for you. Not maybe by a lot, but by people in this community.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a spool of each, but 2 spools of copper.
Okay.
And then I will go through my pockets and see if I have anything interesting to leave behind. I can leave behind the...
Horse rock.
I am deeply considering leaving behind the horse rock.
No.
Actually, you know what? I will leave behind the horse rock and all of like the collected items from the Enclave that we've been kind of collecting to return.
Okay.
And make sure all those items are returned to the Enclave.
Absolutely.
Good call.
So you go ahead, you fill the shelves with some odds and ends, a little stone horse. It's a tough one to leave behind, but it's very in keeping with the kind of things that you exchange for supplies in general.
Yeah.
And so no problem. You will find yourself back at Minka's house. And
Before I leave, do I know of one plant that a person could walk through that is in the Enclave's general area?
There's a ficus in the corner.
I know.
You have to climb through. It's real awkward, but you
It's
can.
really
probably
wilty.
wouldn't be in this part of the Enclave's territory. It'll probably be outside of it or nearby.
Lorimar used to
Still,
water
I just
it,
wanna know if
so...
I-
Oh no!
What was that?
no, not
Earth
really.
elemental's
It's like
name?
small mushrooms and fungus and things, but
Nothing
no,
big.
Something like
The
Chuck or
gem troll?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the gem troll.
But I'm
or
gonna,
no, not the gem troll. The
as we
the
travel
orc-
around the area, I'm
half-orc.
gonna be keeping an eye out. All
Elemental.
right, that's it. I'm done.
Before we leave, I got 2 questions for Lot.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, the gem.
What were
He spoke
these
Terran.
memory
Yeah.
threads? Are they called memory threads, or do they have a name?
Many people refer to them as encoded memories
Coded memories.
or encoded thoughts.
One last thing. I think we encountered a what was it, a gem troll?
A gem troll.
What was his name?
Joe, I don't remember.
The gem troll.
He spoke in Terran. Alina was able to talk to him with tongues.
Yeah, the one who lived.
He had a name that was kind of funny. Like Matt suggested a really dumb name, and then the actual name was like not that far off.
He lives here in the D-Mods section.
Yes.
Oh, it was like Brock or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you said that, and that just
Yeah.
what stuck.
He was like actually Rock.
I don't know that you actually got his name, but his name is Cagragalag.
We definitely did not get that name. I
No.
No, we
did
did
it.
something
I
else.
would mention that we encountered
Did I
him.
say it was Crag?
You might have said that. Yeah. Like, is this Craig or something? And then it was and then,
Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Oh no, it was because he had mentioned his nickname. He said or Crag. And
Crag.
it was
I was
just-
like, oh, Crag.
I just want to mention that we encountered him, and that he seemed like he really wanted to bring life back to these parts of the Underdark.
We
and
gave him potatoes.
We gave him 50 pounds of potatoes, which hopefully we can see more life within these parts from that, but that could take generations.
They nod and they say, gem trolls are very peculiar. I don't know what will happen with that.
This one was very helpful. He gave us a diamond.
Before we go, quick question, Lot. How often have you encountered vampires in your...
It's
Here we
been a
go.
long time. I've heard about vampires rising in Dominion. And when I was in Dominion, there was a very deep history of them on the West Coast.
Okay.
There was a vampire lord that reigned as a king for a very long time there. Why do you ask? What do you want to know?
Just had... curious.
Is Mink in the room?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody's in the room together.
Oh, at the party. He met one.
Yeah, at the party. And down in...
Minka, could I speak to you outside for a moment, please? Takes you outside. She says, Minka, do you remember when I told you the reason that I hadn't seen any vampires was because they were sealed within the Dome of Valandar?
Yes.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
They're and they especially knowing Lot is assuming that Cheshire is in the room, and so is going away from Cheshire, not necessarily you, but similar effect, gets outside of your passive range.
Okay.
And
Damn.
with you says, if vampires know how to escape, it's possible for anything to escape. They might know how to do it. They may be part of this fracturing that you're pursuing, but this is bad news. It either means that vampiricans just from abroad have come to Everest, which is not good, or it means that they have escaped from the dome, which is arguably worse. It's not good. You must keep Ori away from vampires. At all costs.
If one,
Or he's gonna Ori.
one, I think charmed him at one point.
Oh, buddy.
There was something about strawberries, I think.
That may not be the sort of charming that you're thinking of then, Minka, but it is important to, as much as you can, protect Ori from these creatures. He seems impressionable.
Oh no.
He's not had a good run at it.
It was 2 times in one.
Puts his hand around your shoulder, brings you back inside, and says, anyways, Ori, tell me more about these vampires that you have questions about.
Well,
What do they look like, perhaps, or what powers would you imagine them to have?
so I can give you a name. You might know it. Johann Check.
Minka? And she steps back.
Oh no!
You go back outside. She goes, well, actually, I would say she's a little bit in shock with that and just goes right outside the door and so you can hear this. And she says, Johann Sech,
That sounds right.
that was an archivist
Yes.
with the awesome
Lock.
for the branch that fell within the Onyx Spire.
Yes, he was in a cage.
He was 340 years old when the Onyx Spire fell. He is a vampire. He was in the Onyx Spire, which means he has found a way out.
I hadn't told them yet.
He was
Turns and looks at
very
you.
pale.
Sorry.
And just says,
Sorry.
can you hear me?
Sorry.
Cage guy was a vampire?
She opens the door and comes back inside, brings you back inside,
I
and
was
just
going
goes,
to...
this Johann Sech was the head of the Ausenloch branch that existed within the Onyx Spire. He was there when it fell. He was sealed within.
I was going to
okay.
mention that to you all, but there's kind of a lot going on right now.
It's
Was he
okay. It's
a
okay. So
was he a vampire when it fell, or did that happen after?
Does that matter?
A little.
He was not a vampire, at least not documented as one. You would know better than me. Does the Alsenlock...
I don't think he kept it, it seemed as if it was something that he didn't reveal to people terribly often, probably, especially not historians.
That would explain how pale he looked.
Nobody has been heard from that was sealed within since.
Right, that was kind of
It
why
has been hundreds of years.
I thought you would be interested. It just occurred to me.
You all need to understand, if Johann Sech is outside of the dome,
Then that means
there is
that
a
others
way
can-
to transverse the dome. If it is not cracked, it is at least damaged in a way that makes it permeable, and there is nothing worse than that.
Well, except for completely cracking, which is probably what the fracturing is still trying to do and succeeding at, it seems. That was what I was going to
If it completely cracked, chaos would spill out.
Right.
If it isn't completely cracked, but somebody can get in and out, I would argue that that's worse. Somebody has control. And if they haven't released that evil, it's because they're waiting for something. This is not good.
we should probably tell Hearsome, right?
No.
I know he sucks, but he's powerful.
We should
But
definitely
we
tell her
don't
so.
know what Hearsome's role is in all of this.
Can we get a message to Hearsome without it being intercepted?
You don't know Hearsome's role in all this.
We know he's
I-
a dick.
I mean, I think I do, but I've been proving myself recently I'm a terrible judge of character, so...
Hearsome helped create the dome.
I think we knew that.
We did know that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his role in all of the current situation.
We know that he's asking us to investigate it.
He sent us to go investigate the dome.
Right.
And
But it
he's
seems to me like he's asking us to do all of things.
Do any of you know why the dome was created in the first place? Do you know why the stars don't exist in our skies?
I know that something that Hearsome did was a large part of it, but he does not speak of it.
I don't think
Can
he
you tell us?
can speak of it.
I don't know everything. But I know that Hearsome sacrificed a lot. Everybody did. A long time ago, there was a creature that was so evil that she could not be allowed to exist on Alberon anymore.
She?
The dome exists to keep them from ever being able to see. The dome itself, it seals what's within the Onyx Spire, but it also powers the eclipse. It keeps her from being able to see Everest.
Wait, Nigga doesn't know what you guys talked about.
That's
JK, I was snoozing.
That's crazy.
JK.
Is she?
Are you allowed to say her name?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Valis, in a way similar to what occurred with your memories, this person, when I say that they were not able to exist on Alberon, I mean in minds, I mean in hearts, I mean they are gone.
There is one within the Enclave that was telling us about his dreams, and now it sounded like what you're describing is what he is seeing in his dreams. Jesper, one of the ones that
The one
Yeah.
he brought back, he talked about
He's the eyes in the end of
the eyes that
end
see
of days.
through,
He's the
and
one who
it's
saw
the
my
end of
sister.
days. That's yes.
Very well. I will talk to Jesper and see what they might know. They may not be able to put together everything that they do
He seemed a bit
have within
touched.
their head.
But there
Sorcery,
was truth to what he said.
Ori, I gather, and you can see like a Demu perks up at this whole conversation, but Lot says, I gather that you have not experienced magic's touch.
more about it.
Sorcery can take a toll on the mind.
Right.
But she turns and she says, I will talk to Jesper. Things are speeding up. You must go on to Darkbriar and find out what you can about the Lunarish.
Mm-hmm.
All of this seems connected, but I cannot yet see how.
Same.
I still need to ask Cheshire a few things.
Have you ever heard of something called the Pact? We hear this a lot from ancient beings.
The pact is what Hirsum made. The pact is what keeps this creature away.
That's why he can't tell us directly what happened.
Because not even Hirsum is allowed to remember. But if her name is spoken, that could all change. That is the reason the pact exists.
And why the Pact still holds?
That is why the pact must always hold.
Okay.
Someone said that to Billy at some point.
Yeah.
Who said what to Billy?
Sentinel said that to Billy at some point.
We've had Jacques Barandas ask us about it.
You've noticed really old creatures who were here during the time of the
They all
eclipse.
That's why I asked a lot.
All seem to have this kind of block, yeah.
Damn.
All right.
Okay.
So, context. We still need to. We need to get a message to Hirsum without someone intercepting it.
What's the message?
My plan was just to get to Open Skies and say, hey, Hirsum, can you hear us? But if anyone has a better plan than that, I'm all ears.
No, that was basically my plan too.
Well,
I don't think it's a bad plan.
I know
we should
Hirsum
decide
will
together
be-
what we would
Oh,
tell
you
them.
do?
What we would tell.
Yes.
Where?
Well,
Is there a
in
party?
just a couple of days,
Ooh, my
Hirsum
money's on.
is supposed to be judging an event in Petrichor.
My money was.
Oh, the battle. The
My money was on the battle of the bards.
So I imagine that he'll be there. There's a number of people who have gone to go and see it. Actually, somebody from the Enclave went. But
Well, I guess we're going back to Petrichor too. How are we gonna get to Petrichor?
Darkbriar first.
Darkbriar first for sure, because we
Well,
need to. It's right there.
Alina, dear, you know teleportation, right?
Yes, but I don't know how to get to Petrichor. Can someone here teach me?
Yes. Do you have a piece of paper?
Dallas.
Takes a piece of paper. She takes a quill and she begins to sketch out a sigil. And she says, now, it's been a long time since I've been a patron of the Petrichor's Performers Association, but I have donated some money, and in my time, I think that as long as you let them know that, give me a second here.
Minka's mom coming in through
Clutch.
Just tell them that Telesia Alot sent you, and you should be warmly received.
Telesia. And that's Petrichor. So the circle is in the Performers Guild. Is that?
After a fashion, yes.
Thank you, Lot.
All right. Do you want anything from Petrichor while we're there?
She looks at you and she says,
Going there.
I want you to be safe, Minka. Just come back again.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you for coming back.
I'll be back. I just don't know when.
I know. She smiles. And Alina, do you finish your teleportation circle?
I look to see if everybody's ready. I do a ready check.
Big hugs to Mom.
You see just the R's pop up. And before too long, you go to You're going to Darkbriar or you're going to Petrichor?
Darkbriar.
Okay. So you sketch out and finish the sigil for the Ice Makers Guild Hall. There is a whir of movement, and suddenly you are in a place that, though it is cold, nowhere near as cold as the hells that you have all been adjacent to.
Oh, it's warm in
We're
here.
in a pretty regularly cold space. You see all around you, there are like 4 or 5 individuals who are laboring to carry a massive block of ice to this teleportation circle. You can see a wizard wearing all blue who is sitting there, like similar to what you had just did. They have the circle cast and not ready to go. And as you woof, woof, all appear, this gem dust all across the room and is just scattered. And you can see they just go, my circle. Who are you?
Sorry.
Because it's 10:30. This is where we're going to end.
Jesus.
So thank you for joining us for this session of Adventures in Alberta Parts of Everest. We will be back next week. We'll have a full party next week as well. But if you can't wait that long on Thursday, we're going to play some Starfinder. You can join us at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't wait that long, you could just see the replay of this on YouTube on Sunday. But thank you for sticking with us. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.